too quick.
I know.
Turn the heater on.
We're ready to go. Okay. Hello and welcome to the January 20th, 2026 meeting of the Northfield Select Board. I'm calling this meeting to order at 6:01. And first up is Tom Walker, the Highway Department Superintendent. We have a few things to chat about. But first off, how's it going? I think of you whenever the snow comes down. Or when it's about to.
Yeah, no, it's been going good. A lot of breakdowns, unfortunately, but and we still don't have any of our new equipment, so it's one of those things, you gotta fix it and move forward.
What's the timetable on the new equipment? That's just forever?
I talked to them last week and
Yeah.
they told me one of the trucks should be ready by the end of this month, but then I called the truck company and they said it's not even inside yet. But the other truck company that I'm buying it from says they're working on it. And we get parts all the time from
Yeah.
the company that's building it, and like we were just down there the other day and I said to Cody, go in and take a look at the truck, see how it's coming. They said, well, it's still out back in the parking lot, so I don't think we're gonna see it by the end of January.
Yeah, not in time,
Hopefully for
certainly.
sometime.
The other truck was supposed to be started the 1st of January. I talked to them last week and they said there was good news, all the parts are there, but it's not in the garage yet.
Okay, you gotta take your good news where you can get it, I
Yeah.
guess, right? In bits and pieces.
The only other one thing is, I mean, as you know, we've been going through a lot of material and stuff, so you're gonna expect, we're probably gonna, if these storms continue,
Yeah.
I mean, we're almost to what I use for salt normally with this ice.
Oh, for
and-
the whole year you are?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's just, it's one of those years that these little storms are killing us. The little storms cost as much as they actually cost more because they're so time consuming with the
Right.
material that we're putting down, and the ice is really bad too.
Right.
Every day we're on the dirt road sanding. I mean, I made 3,000 yards of sand out of our pit. We normally use 1,500, and I've already had to buy some. Some of it's frozen, so you can't use. We can reuse it next year, but
Right.
I've been through almost double what in sand, and then we're only into January. So,
Yikes. Okay, fingers crossed.
but hopefully it'll slow down or whatever. But
So the polar vortex thaw coming through, is that kind of a good thing in that it's so cold that it's not going to snow and you just worry about ice, or it's still a pain in the
I'd rather be a little colder and snow
Yeah.
than.
Okay.
But the problem we're gonna have now is the frost heaves, I mean, usually you get
And
frost heaves in
trees.
February.
Yeah, and trees.
And they're really bad. I mean, we've got spots the roads have lifted like that we have to be careful. That's the biggest problem is breaking stuff because the roads have shifted so much everywhere between the dirt and the blacktop, and you catch that with a plow, something's got to give.
Oh, gotcha.
And it doesn't matter how fast you're going, how slow you're going. You don't know where it is because today it's here, tomorrow it's the same with like a manhole in the road. You could hit it today, never feel it, but tomorrow, and some of those manholes, especially now, they start sticking up, and if you don't remember where they are after you've been out for 20 hours,
Right,
you hit one of those, you're gonna know. It wakes you up.
right.
But it's not anything anybody's tried to do. We've had the front end go in one of our four-wheel drive trucks. We had the rear end go on another truck. That truck was warranted, still back and forth.
Okay.
But we were without it we didn't get it back till I think just the last week of December, beginning of January, finally.
You guys work on a lot of that?
We tried to. The front end, I had a guy, we just haven't had the time to, the welding and stuff like that, Cody does all of that, the fabricating, if the plows break or whatever. But as the mechanical, the front end I had somebody else do only because you have to have it adjusted for tolerances, spaces and stuff, and we don't have the equipment or the time really to do it.
Tom, are the front ends are more vulnerable when they're plowing, right? It's heavier on that front
Oh
end.
yeah, with the plow hanging off, especially with the frost heaves. I mean, like this morning, for instance, when you're just salting, you have the plow on because we've been plowing, we haven't taken them off, and you hit these. You know, you got to go slow, but I mean, you go out Warwick Road, for instance. There's some pretty good whoop-de-doos, and you know that plow gets to bouncing, but it adds a lot of strain to the front of the trucks, definitely.
And there's nothing we can do about those later in the spring when we do our road corrections, because it's just the frost heave, right?
And you never know, we haven't had frost heaves like this for probably 5 or 6 years, honestly. It's really bad this year. Everybody, I've talked to a lot of other towns, it's
Yeah.
everywhere,
I saw them on 142, and I know I've never seen
yeah.
them before.
Well, that one in the
Near
middle
the
of the hill
pavement.
hasn't been there for 5 years, and
Yeah.
it used to be there every year, and you know it's there now. It's
Yeah.
the first time in 5 years it's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask about Gulf Road. I saw some detour signs up there. Was that just because it was slippery, or was there
Yeah.
something going on?
yeah. No, the other night there was, I don't know how many cars, but they went right around the signs. They called dispatch. Dispatch called me 2 or 3 times and said, "Aren't the signs up?" I said, "Yeah."
And the wrecked cars, you mean?
Well,
Cars
they
that
were
had
in the
accidents?
ditches. They didn't,
Oh.
no damage, but they were sitting in the ditch waiting
Right.
for the wreckers. And nothing you can do. They go around. They choose to go around them.
Yeah.
We had that really icy morning a couple of weeks ago or whatever, and the cops had called, and I went up there, and there was 3 cars up there, and they said, "Yeah, no, we just went around the signs and thought it'd be okay." They weren't, they got off the road, but they couldn't go. They didn't dare come back down the hill, but they didn't dare. They couldn't make it up the hill either.
Right.
So,
Oh, goodness.
but no, the cops have been putting them out. We put them out the other day because there wasn't anybody. I don't remember which day it was. On a Saturday storm, I think it was. They had them up and then took them down. But the big problem with them is that I got a couple texts today from residents that they're up, but during a snowstorm, the snow sticks to them.
You can't see it.
So you can't. They were saying how people couldn't see them, but we can't keep stopping and getting out and cleaning the sign off. Or
I mean, it seems like there's just metal signs, right?
yeah,
Couldn't we, this is a jury-rigged solution, but couldn't we run a wire on the back of the sign that could heat it and
well, the
with
problem
a
is you got to
battery?
plug it in somewhere. That's
Well, with a battery,
or
with like a car
But that's they'd have to stay together. Then you got to keep them charged and everything else. I mean, the signs are literally set in the road, so I mean,
You have to drive around
well,
them.
we
Yeah.
plow around them. So I mean,
Yeah.
there's one down here, and then there's another one at Alexander that you literally
Have to go around.
have to go around it, whether it's covered in snow or not. It's pretty. I mean, it's a yellow sign. You can read on it. I mean, I saw that they got a little snow covered, but
Yeah.
it sticks sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't.
So
Okay.
what's your intuition about maybe putting up a giant thing that says ice on it or something?
Well,
Something
we
that
had
will
talked
warn-
about if we could find some of those that, and then people said that the problem is where to put it, like one of the solar signs, like the speed limit ones, for instance, that,
Right.
we could put something like that if it's closed.
Yeah.
But,
Well, let's
I mean,
talk-
trucks are another big problem. They're still using it. I mean,
Yeah. On that question, let's talk to, I was just talking to Chief Hall today because he's going to have like a couple of phone calls into Mass Dot about some other questions for folks that'll be on a future agenda. So maybe they have something.
Yeah.
Anyway. But speaking of plowing and paving, looking ahead to better weather, can we just talk a little bit about Old Wendell Road? You and I spoke about that. Bernie lives up there. So I know part of it is dirt and part of it is asphalt.
Yep.
And the question came up was that there seemed to be a different truck or something for the sanded part, although today the report that I got from the resident that I mentioned to you said everything was great by 8:30, and it seemed like the same truck went through and didn't turn around at the.
no, same truck turned around early at 4:30, 5 o'clock this morning.
Oh, okay.
And then they
Okay.
were doing sand later in the morning.
Okay.
It's the same truck that sands both ends.
Okay.
It's just when they're done salting, they go to the sand. They have to completely, because we use salt, you can't put salt on dirt. So we stop at Sisson's where the blacktop ends.
Yep.
Turn around in his driveway, and then when everybody's done with the salting routes on their route,
They come back and do
they
the
come
sand.
back and they dump the rest of the salt off, and then they load up and go back out with sand.
Oh, okay, so it's the same truck you have to.
It's the same truck, they just change material in the
Got it.
back.
Okay, that's why.
So, but we're keeping up as best as we can with it, with
Yeah.
what we have.
Yeah.
And that's a little lower of a priority when you have Orange Road, that's 5 miles long, and that takes quite a bit of sand, and that's one of the bigger problems too, is with the ice that we have, the heavier they put the sand, they gotta make multiple trips. So a 4 Mile Brook, for instance, that truck that goes up there,
Yeah,
normally he can do it with 4 Mile on the both old Wendells with one load of sand, but with the ice we've had, he's 3 or 4 loads of sand, so he
oh.
gets
okay.
halfway up 4 Mile,
And he
then he
can't
has to
go.
go back and
Oh,
reload,
okay.
and go back and
Got
finish
it.
4 Mile, then come
Too
back
heavy.
and reload.
Okay,
And we can't keep that salt dirt over here because that's over
Yeah.
the watershed, right?
Well, yeah, and even though it's plain sand, there's nowhere, that's the biggest problem this time of year too, it freezes, because we don't mix salt with it. That's what's been happening with the resident sand over there, because we don't mix salt with it. Then you have this cold Arctic air, the sand has moisture in it and it freezes, and then everybody gets over there, and the pile's froze.
But I meant
Been
the,
there, done that.
over
There's-
on
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's, thank you, sorry.
Yeah.
That, there's sand over there or there's
No,
not sand over there?
no.
Okay.
You could remember that's over an aquifer, so you couldn't have any salt over there at all.
Right, which is what I said earlier, but I was meaning about the sand, because
Yeah.
he's saying this is
Yeah,
unsalted.
but then we'd have to have another loader over there as well too. We'd
Oh, I
have to
see.
either move a loader over all the
Okay.
time. That's why we got all the products centrally located, because there's a loader sitting there.
okay. And then there was a question, I think you confirmed otherwise, that when Gulf Road is closed, that somehow you're not plowing up on the hill, either Old Wendell or,
We're still doing our same,
South
everybody
Mountain,
still
yeah.
plows the same. We go around the signs and keep the roads open, it's not.
okay,
The dirt gets done last only, well, this year it's frozen. Previous years it's not frozen,
Okay.
so a lot of times you wait because the plow chatters on it.
yeah.
So then you're dealing with,
You're messing up the road?
well, it messes the road up
Yeah.
because then you drive down the road, it's washboardy. So then everybody's saying, well, in the middle of winter, there's nothing you can do for it. So
Yeah.
when it's not, it's very hard to plow a dirt road unless you have rubber blades. Again, you'd have to send a truck back, take that plow off, put another plow
Yeah,
on it, has a
yeah.
rubber blade, go
Okay.
all the way back up. The problem we have, I've been through a lot of classes on this, is our roads are scattered all over. We don't have, we got 5 miles here, we got 2 miles here, you got a mile here. So you can't just, and then if I had one truck just running around doing all those roads, everybody's gonna say, geez, that guy's just running around. You know, he's over here, then he's over here, then he's down here. And
Yeah.
So usually when I call a private contractor and his truck does a good job with it and he goes real slow and he does, but they don't come in, we wait till we get 3 inches or more to have them come in.
Oh, okay, so you get extra
It's
help when it's
travelable.
deeper. Yeah,
There's no reason that people can't travel on it. People still come in and out of all the roads. The ice, that, I mean, we do the best we can do. When it's raining, like the other one day, it was pouring rain. You can put the sand on, you can wash the rain, wash it off right behind you.
yeah, yeah.
So it's just complicated till it stops.
Yeah,
And some of the residents understand it and some don't. There's no easy way to explain it. I mean, you could drive up and down the road and 5 minutes later you could think nobody's been there. We use a little more stone so you can see it now. The stone actually stays on top, so if you drive on it, it's a little more aggressive for traction for tires.
okay.
But
Well, why don't we move on to the paving part? I know we talked about this years ago, and I had kind of forgotten about it, and I talked to Andrea separately, and I talked to you separately, and then it just seemed like it would be a good topic for the whole select board. So the residents down at the end of Old Wendell on the dirt portion had submitted a petition a couple of times, and nothing's moved forward. I think the original idea, and correct me if I'm wrong, was to cut all the way through and connect. There was a big idea to connect both.
that was what the study was.
Yeah,
Right, so we've got files going back into, at least in my office, to 2014. We're
Yeah.
actually doing some early work on Old Wendell Road, but this may be the first petition you're talking about. I
Yes.
actually have it,
Yeah, okay,
2001,
good.
which anticipated or caused the fiscal year 2022 $200,000 appropriation to actually do some studying. So in February of 2023, I have the Old Wendell Road Restoration Evaluation, which was done by Time Bond,
okay,
where they went and really did all the like they went piece by piece by piece to see what would you need to do. They reviewed road conditions, design standards, regulatory requirements to actually construct the road, if you were gonna go all the way through. Probable cost at that time was estimated at 2.75 million.
Ooh,
And actually, if you added the permitting, the bidding, the construction oversight, all that services, it rose to about $3.2 million would be the estimate to put that road all the way through.
Was that with proper drainage so it doesn't get
Yeah.
washed
Yeah,
out?
oh yeah, there's a whole
Okay.
report
Yeah,
on that.
they
There's
did,
a couple
yeah.
spots there that wash out all the time.
And this
No,
has
that
a
was all
whole-
designed.
There's a whole report.
Yeah.
So at that time, the working group, which was Heath, Tom, and I, specifically to work on this road,
Yeah.
was kind of formed to get a sense of it. And I think we decided it made more sense to consider discontinuing the road. It would actually be cheaper than actually putting the road in. Then Tom was starting to measure from each end, like where
Where would
would
you
you
stop?
go to for each end? Because you're not going to discontinue right at the dirt, because obviously there's homes past that, and there's a couple people who access things. So where on each end would you actually start the discontinuance and maybe just pave those
portion of it?
portions to get
Okay.
to those two pieces? And Mount Grace Land Trust is now has some more of that land in there. So I think they're in conservation restrictions, so you can't build on, which actually lowers the value, which is great for buying the development rights. And I think they actually had interest in reaching out to more of the landowners who have property up there if the road was going to be discontinued. But what you have to understand about a discontinuance is, it's a process.
Yes.
You have to survey the road. The whole road has to be surveyed. Now, some of that work is probably done in this, but you'd have to have a survey done. You'd have to determine from where to where. Tom would have to estimate the cost of doing the two ends, so you'd still do that piece. You do the survey work, then you gotta go and look at who owns everything, and then you have to get a valuation, because if you discontinue the road, that's a change in the use of the road. You have to compensate landowners for taking away their right to technically have access to a town road. So there's a process, but we still thought at 3.2 million, and that's in 2003 dollars,
yeah.
it would probably still be cheaper.
2003 or 2013?
2023,
Oh, 23, okay.
2023.
Oof, okay.
Sorry about that.
Woo.
That was still considered, we thought might be cheaper. And again, excuse me, with the land trust, some of that land is in conservation restriction, which actually takes the value down because you can't build a house on it. It's not a building lot anymore. So that would be the next process to take, and we had 200,000. Left in the account is 153, I think 153, 425 is still left. So you could certainly begin that process of what Tom needs to do, which is get land surveyed, get land marked, get land measured, figure out where he wants to do the two ends, and then get that middle piece surveyed. And then obviously he'd have to still come up with money out of his budget, chapter 90, whatever, to finish those two ends.
And by finish, we mean pave.
Repair, well,
Right.
pave, but there's also a lot to do. It's not
Yeah.
just a matter
You're gonna have to dig
of running
in
paving. I mean,
Right,
there's
right.
all new drain. I mean,
Drainage, yeah.
the
Yeah.
upper end I measured just real quick because we were going to talk about it. I mean,
Yeah.
you're still talking about $350,000 to fix that stretch of road
On the
to-
upper end?
on the upper end. And that's just roughly in between snowstorms. That's the drainage that I looked in, what they were designing in this paperwork
Yeah.
and stuff for the drainage all the way up through to improve. There's a lot of blasting that's going to need to be done, and that's. I mean, and some of these prices were in 2023, like Andrea was saying.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these
3 years
prices,
ago
the
is-
pipe have doubled.
Yeah.
So
You only think it's 3 years old, but the
Right.
truth is, yeah.
You
Well,
gotta be
everything's
careful with
expensive.
blasting too.
no, you gotta be because then you gotta be careful with people's wells up there and everything
Wells,
else,
their
and the
foundations.
power
Yeah.
lines. It's a. I mean, right now what I was looking at is just I think I've got 600,000 or 700,000, but I've been holding some of the money in the Chapter 90
Yeah,
for the School Street. We got the School Street Bridge.
If that ever comes.
Yeah, they've actually got an
We
email
got an
last
update.
week that
Yay.
they're moving, that they are continue
Nice.
to
I
go.
thanked her just for sending an update. It was the
Right.
first time anyone's
Right.
ever bothered to
Right.
People
Let us
people
know.
reach out to me an awful lot.
let us
and then
know.
you got we got a culvert that's failing on North Lane, and we're in the process of waiting on the grant on that to see. We got a grant in for the engineering portion of that,
Okay.
but we're gonna have to match some of these funds for these different.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's something that if we want to move forward with either end of Old Wendell Road, we got to kind of budget it in. I mean, if we get some fair
Yeah.
share money, but it's a big chunk of money to go up. I mean, I'm looking at some of these other spots that are in worse shape. I mean, it's a dirt
Yeah.
road. I understand it's a dirt road, but it's not that it's in poor shape at all. But it does need a lot of work. It needs a lot of updates of drainage. And,
Yeah.
I mean, I think the first step would be to figure out where you want to go to. And we
Right.
can begin the middle section. We could get that survey done. We could start that piece, even though you don't jump on the paving piece right
Right.
away. We could at least establish where's the line, survey from here to here,
Yeah.
and start
I
moving
think-
on.
I think
Because
that would.
you start getting to a lot of ledge halfway down, don't you?
both ways,
Oh,
even the top. I mean, the top. That's the biggest problem with some of
And a lot of
those.
those properties up there, weren't they woodlots or still are
Right.
woodlots?
Yeah. And,
And
they're-
that-
I mean,
they
they're
still
ledge,
have
they're
access to it.
buildable, but I mean, it's a lot of ledge on all of them.
Buildable if they can perk,
Right,
yeah.
right.
And
So-
then you have to, it's very expensive,
I
because
know.
they have
Oh,
to
yeah.
deal with the
Right.
ledge too.
So the petition was from Upper Old Wendell Road. Do you have the same interest on Lower Old Wendell Road?
Oh, they would like it
Okay.
fixed. They have never put a petition together.
Okay,
We
I
had
just
2 or 3
wanted to-
people that call every year and want to know if we're
When
going
you're
to
gonna
do
do the
anything.
paving?
or-
Okay.
Yeah, they're just looking to have it paved from where it's dirt
Yeah.
to where it's ends probably right now.
But then you got a couple in the middle that would love never to see it paved. So it's
If it was paved, does that make it easier from a
maintenance standpoint.
plowing and all that
Plowing and
good
maintenance.
stuff?
It's
Okay.
definitely a maintenance. It's like all the little pieces. It's like you take the little pieces that we have, like Lyman Hill. You got blacktop on both ends of that, and we have to go grade. I think it's 350 feet in the middle,
Oh,
and it's in the middle of you got to go down to Pine Meadow. It's out of the way. I mean, you got little pieces. You got a little piece on Lyman Road. The end of it, 750 feet long. School Street out there, I think that's 1,000 or 1,200. But if we could take away the little pieces of dirt, but then you get into the scenic roads when we started doing a little bit of tree work on School Street one year, and everybody was afraid we were going to pave it all the way through. But it would be, maintenance cost wise for the town aspect of
Right.
it would definitely be cheaper, and it's in the long run, once you get it improved and get it paved,
right,
the maintenance aspect of it is a lot less than dirt.
right. Gotcha.
So what about if we do, is there a acceptable intermediate? So the problem is drainage. So here's my question. What about if we fix the drainage on Old Wendell but don't pave it? Now I understand it's easier to do that, but if it's easier to maintain it when paving, but there's the cost benefit of doing the job, which you said was $350K about.
Roughly. Yeah.
And the other thing is about raising it. So we can't go down. Can we raise it up a little bit? Like, can we leave the drainage the level that it is and give it a little over for the, you see what I'm saying?
You can, but there's spots that it humps up. That's the biggest problem with ledge. You could be at this plane here, and then you could go up here, and then it drops down here. So you still get that water from here to there. That's where the blasting all comes in.
I see.
And then there is different. I mean, for the stabilization of the road, you could raise it because there is a new stuff that's out there that we have used in the muddy sections of our roads, which does work. You could use that to stabilize, because you're supposed to have so much between the ledge and your road, so the dirt doesn't move around a lot, and that's what happens. It starts moving or heaving. But this stabilization will work, but it's the drainage is the big thing to get it low enough to pick up all the spots of water that are coming in, or we have some spots in the middle of the road that leak too. We had the same problem on South Mountain Road before we improved that drainage. It just bubbles up in the middle of the road. So you have to, then you get out and your ledge might go like this, and then it might come up to the middle of the road and go back, or stay level and come up the other side. There's spots that when we're grading now, I mean, we're right on the ledge.
So the places that are draining out, can we excavate a little, put a culvert or a mini culvert, and then do the raised level thing? So now you're not
Well,
having
you
to
can't always
blast.
the rest. I mean, you still have to deal with the rest of it to get to those points. So you can't, even if this culvert can go down, you'd have to still blast to do the rest of the job. It's not.
Yeah, it sounds like that would be putting a Band-Aid over a problem.
Yeah,
you
you're
needed.
gonna fix one spot that you can get it down, but you could create a pocket, say, of water that's gonna create another problem up further.
Oh, unintended consequences.
Yeah,
got it.
I mean, and you don't, ledge is, I mean, I've done a lot of work with ledge, like on the ridge up here, for instance, and I mean, you could,
This sounds
you
like
could dig a
that
10-foot
ridge
hole right here,
conversation.
and they say the perk's good, and then you go to put a septic system in, and you only got 5 feet. Where you happen to dig, you could get down 10 or 12 feet, but if you had went this way or this way, you can't even get down 2 feet. And that's the hard part on the mountain, and that's why everybody's houses are so high up, because they're on top of the rock.
Right, got it. Okay, so can we
But we can look at,
outline next steps and have you come back when, as the weather starts, you always come back anyway and start talking about paving and what
Yeah.
roads are on your list for the year, that sort of thing. I'm
Yeah.
wondering if there's some steps that we could take in the meantime, either to firm up estimates or see.
well, we can definitely move forward on, like Andrea said, with
Yes.
the,
Or
Figure out where your lines
where our
are.
Yeah.
lines are gonna be,
Yeah.
and we
We'll do
could
the
do that
survey in the
now.
middle.
Okay,
And then we
Kinda.
could identify the landowners, we could figure
Yeah.
out who might be interested, if Mount Grace is gonna reach out to people. We
Yeah.
could start working on those pieces
okay.
sooner.
Let's start doing that, because that won't be weather dependent necessarily. the
No,
same.
I mean, if
Yeah.
we get a break in the weather, we can walk down there and just take a look as to where.
Yeah,
I mean, I got a good rough idea, because there is a couple wells that people have invested in on the lower side on a couple of
okay,
lots.
so we're gonna be.
So we should
Yeah.
go above there, but there is a couple, like a decent place to, I guess I would say, to stop on both ends, where
Yeah.
it's wide enough where you could put a truck, because that's the other big thing, you gotta have enough for these trucks to get down and turn around.
Right.
That's the big, that is, and it's a big problem for us now at the end, on the bottom side isn't as bad, because there's a parking area, that
What are
we
you
plow.
doing on the top side then? Are you backing up or how?
No,
are
we
you?
jockey between two,
Oh,
the
okay.
last two houses,
Okay.
you push the snow to the side, then you kind of pull into this driveway, back into this driveway, and then pull out about 10 times to get back up the hill.
Like a driving test.
Yeah, pretty much. And
But
then
when
you
you
got,
do the-
and then there's a culvert in the driveway, so you gotta make sure, because we've had trucks,
Right.
you get tired, and then you think you're in the driveway, and you're really half in the driveway and half in the ditch.
Great.
so when you do that redesign, put a
Yeah.
little turnaround spot.
Well, no, that was the intention, but we didn't own enough property where we stop now. And to go down further, the road was all washed out.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
and it's
I have
not
one more
that great now,
Yep.
because a lot of water goes down there.
Okay, one more question and then let's talk
I
about
have a
your.
question. Mine was for Andrea. You said that the landowners would need to be compensated. When we come back, can you estimate what that cost would be when we have the discussion?
Well, what it has to do
Maybe
is
in
tell me
motion.
where, and then we have to ask someone, that's why you need a survey, and then someone has to appraise it. So we have to hire an
Oh, I
appraiser.
see.
Yeah,
Now, again, if Mount Grace is interested in some of them, they might move to a landowner, and if they put conservation restriction, that brings the value right down. So they've already said, hey, if you're gonna do this, let us know, because they're already a bunch of pieces, and they would be interested maybe in trying to make that connection, and I'd love to let them do that first.
Right.
Because then you have to, once you have this, and you can literally say, here's our front line, here's your, tell us what this parcel is worth. And then the appraiser will look at it, and they can look at it and say, oh, it's got ledge, this is only visible, you're not gonna be able to, there's a whole piece to doing each one of those. So I just wanna know where the edges are, because we don't wanna do pieces and properties that are going to be accessible. We wanna know exactly what's gonna be
Yeah.
affected.
And we could have a conversation with Mount Grace about having,
Once
the
we knew
parking
what
area,
parcels-
so that then we have access, people have access to use the
Well, I
land
think what
for.
you're gonna do if you discontinue is you're gonna have it all. Figure out what you want, and then, yes.
yeah, so can you,
You discontinued
Andrea, can you type up a list of steps basically, so we can kind of take the longer view here and then see where the highway planning versus other, Mount Grace, for example, we can actually remember it at a future meeting. Not-
Right.
not have
I
to
have one more little mini question about something that Andrea said, which is, you said it was great for buying development rights. What did that mean? Did that mean just, you were speaking of the value being less?
Yes, because
Okay.
if you can't develop the property, it's not assessed as a house lot.
Okay.
That brings the value
I was just
down.
clarifying.
Yep, good.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Just one other thing,
Yep.
if you do happen to do that and abandon the center of it, you're gonna have to rename the roads a little bit.
I think you should consider that, well, you should probably consider that
Upper,
anyway.
lower, or something,
Upper
yeah.
Old
Or
Wendell,
whatever.
lower
Effective
Old Wendell or
connected, yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay,
it does
let's
get
make a note.
complicated even with the fire. I mean, the fire. I mean, even when they call me in the mill. I mean, like
Are you
up
up
top
or
goes to
lower?
the
Yeah.
400. So if it's a number higher than 400, I
Yeah.
think it's 425 up top is the last one. And
Yep.
you know, they've called me before and say there's a tree down on Old Wendell Road. Well, which end they don't know. Or-
Right.
So you go down one end and it's not there,
Exactly.
and you go to the other end.
Or if
Half
you're
an hour
driving
later.
a truck
Maybe
up
New
there,
Wendell
sometimes
Road.
they get
Yeah.
up, go up and they tend
Oh.
to turn around.
No, we've had, to be
Trailer
honest,
trucks
we've
up there.
working
They
out there.
shouldn't be
Trailer
going up
trucks
there.
have gone out there because it
Yeah.
shows on the GPS, it goes all the
Yeah.
way through.
We've had delivery trucks get stuck
Just
there
make
too.
an upper-
Yeah.
Wendell
Upper,
Road
lower.
and lower Wendell Road.
Get a big
They're
long
gonna
sign
old
now.
altogether.
Right.
Okay.
Upper
So
Wendell.
let's
Like
get
a little
a,
logic.
let's get a list of tasks and steps. I think that would help with the residents because they've been waiting for a while, and then we can update this at a future meeting. What I wanted to make sure is that we got to the your employment request, the reclassification request for your team.
Are we going to talk about demolition?
Oh, that too.
Yeah,
Which would you like to talk about first?
let's keep it order.
Okay.
How's the demolition going, Tom?
Hopefully next week.
Ooh.
The
I know you guys have
asbestos
been in
is
there a little
done.
bit.
We got a clean bill of health.
Okay,
Is what I
good.
sold Friday.
Yeah.
We put a ramp. We did a ramp today. We're finished cleaning out the cellar. We gotta get the oil tanks out. The furnaces that are all out. They're in the garage. We got a few more things to tear out, some piping and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So you're taking a tree down out back too or something? There was
No, that was
huge
that
tree
big
there.
old rotted stump. We
Yeah.
took the tree down years ago and started to grow again.
Okay.
The EMS guy wanted to see it gone. So.
Ah,
I didn't think it would come out that easy because it's about 7 feet around, but it's all rotted. So.
Oh, so the whole thing just popped right out?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, like a rotten tooth.
So once you start, how long do you think it will
Septic
take?
mark?
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was
How long do you think it's gonna
Couple
take to
weeks.
take it
Couple
down?
weeks.
Couple weeks?
Well, it'll be down hopefully in a couple days, but I got a company to come in but then we were just looking when they put the temporary service into the trailer,
Was
it
close?
dips down.
Oh,
So now we gotta raise the temporary.
okay.
We gotta look at how we can raise the service a
So
little
you
bit
can
to
get to
back
it
the trailer
easier.
trucks, cause the trailer trucks
Oh.
can't fit in on the driveway side. So they're gonna back in through the EMS side. Once I get them under the wire, there's plenty of room for me to load them, but we thought there was more room till we measured it today. The first
Okay.
wire coming in, then it goes to a telephone pole, then when they put the temporary service for the trailer, it
It's
drops
lower.
way down.
Yeah.
Gets too low, yeah.
So, I
Okay.
did talk to a guy at the power company, he said it wouldn't be a big deal that we could he'll have somebody stop by and raise it up. We were just gonna put a stick of wood underneath it.
Thank you
notch to
guys for
hold
doing
it up,
this.
but-
Really,
Yeah.
you're saving us a lot
is
of money, so I
exciting.
appreciate that.
you know,
pretty
if they-
consistently saving us a lot of
Yeah.
money.
Try
So the septic, we're excited about that new septic for the other building. Do you have it marked out so if you have contractors, they won't?
It's
I'm
all
sorry.
covered, yeah.
Yeah, it's set up.
Yeah, we road plated it because we actually have to drive on it. It's right in the driveway.
Golly.
The rest of this, the leach field is behind the garage, but the actual tanks are right in the driveway where we have to be.
Okay.
So we brought our road plates over so that the contractors the other day for the asbestos were driving out there. They're made to be driven on, but not with heavy equipment.
Yeah.
So
Over and over. And then one last question on those furnaces. Are they reusable? Can we pop them in this old firehouse over
we
here?
have to have them tested because they still had water.
Okay.
The water heaters were they were fairly new
Nice.
water heaters, but they were all frozen when we took them out. So those are probably split. So we're gonna just bring them over to the highway garage for now, and then once they unthaw, and I don't know how froze they got.
What would you use them for? Would they just be disposed of normally? Or would you be
Well,
using
yeah,
them-
no, you
yeah.
just throw them. I mean, if they're no good, but they're
No, but if
they're
they're
newer
good.
furnaces
Yeah.
that were in there. So we removed them, brought in there, we got them out of the cellar the other day, but they were already froze up because they didn't.
Right.
The water didn't get drained out of anything in the house after it burned. All they did was shut the water off, but nothing. The water heaters, nothing got drained out.
Oops.
So with all the cold weather
It's
that we've
splitting,
had, they're
But that would
nice.
be
They're
kind of-
sad because they're expensive furnaces. They're top of the line furnaces.
Well, if they work,
we
could
were
use
just
them
gonna bring them
elsewhere.
over and get them unthawed at the garage, and then I can have somebody test them to see if they're worth anything or not.
Excellent.
Okay, good. So we'll have you back anyway, and we can
But
chat more
hopefully,
about that.
we're trying weather permitting. I don't
Yeah.
know. They're talking about possible snowstorm.
I do have one question, really, it's to deal with that, but the existing septic system for the garage, where the EMS is,
Yeah.
do you have to, because it's failing, and the thing was to hook up to the other one eventually?
They would have to put a pump over there.
Okay,
If they do anything, they would
that's-
have to pump
that's
it
a
from there because
Yeah.
it's
Ways
too
away.
low.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That'll,
The other one's working. It's just not.
Would you have to, if that gets abandoned, you have to, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
You Fill it in?
You just
leave
pump it and you pump them and fill them in.
okay,
Crush the top.
Again,
in,
that's
fill
something
'em
that's-
in.
yeah, we'll get to that under the building committee. We've got a pretty hefty agenda, so I'm not trying to squelch the enthusiasm, but
Yeah.
I won't see the same enthusiasm like in an hour. The highway department request for change in staff, that's the most important, given the great group that you've got, and they all seem pretty, you've had them together for quite a bit, and at least in my 6 years, so we're really excited about that. I know that there was some discussion about keeping the wages competitive with the other towns. So,
I did some study on that.
yeah, you did.
I
Do you
looked
wanna,
at the
why don't you
FERCog.
talk a little bit
Why don't
about
I
that?
talk? I looked up in FERCog on the 2025 wages and salaries, and with similar job descriptions and such. I didn't include Greenfield in it. Of course, their pay is higher, but I have 20 towns here, and only 3 of them are paid lower than Northfield, and 16 are paid higher. And the average pay in Northfield is $25.66 by this survey.
Yeah, but that's not right.
No, I know, but that was the survey back then. But all these are from
Oh,
that.
if
Yeah,
he's
I
using
have-
it to compare, he has
I
to
have them,
compare apples
You
to
have the new
apples.
ones now? So I
Well,
didn't
the
have that.
2020, well, they call it the 2025, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I took the average of them, and Irving's making $2 an hour more than our employees. Gill's making $1.50 more. Leiden makes $1 more. Even Bernardston makes 50 cents an hour more. The 3 that are lower are Hawley, Shelburne, and Buckland.
Oh,
But they're not that much lower, but it just seems, we want to be an employer of choice. I'd like to
Yes.
keep the team together. I think one little move and a step, I brought this up to Tom. So I initiated this. Because we've done the same thing to get high quality EMS. He came in and asked us to bump it a little. Rec Commission asked for money. We give that to them because they work hard, just like the DPW, the library. The police even asked for something for their part-time, and we granted that. So I thought moving them one step was a very reasonable request. That's why I initiated this.
What's the amount of the one-step move?
Total cost?
No, per.
Per hour?
the-
about-
Oh,
yeah.
the
It's
difference
about
per hour?
50 cents an
About
hour.
50 cents, I think we were looking.
It varies,
Yeah.
because the steps are
Yeah.
slightly different.
I mean, it's not
'cause
gonna
they're-
make it as high as
They're all
normal,
on
but
different steps.
I thought it was a good step to show,
Good start.
Yeah,
Wow.
the average this year, I don't know where the numbers are from last year, is 26.43.
Okay.
Because I have.
But that's
it-
in the context of he was doing in the context of the other, so probably the other towns have
Well,
done
it's
their
the-
commensurate.
yeah,
Oh, this
no,
is yours?
This is
all of
the
us?
FERCog.
Oh, okay.
This is the
Yeah.
one he's talking
Yeah.
about.
So where are we in the distribution?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't count Greenfield or Montague or
Yeah,
a couple of
and you
them.
gotta take into consideration both those are union.
Yeah.
Right.
Right,
So it's
right.
gotta be
Places, too.
higher.
And some of them didn't put.
that's
their
why I
stuff
didn't
in.
include them.
Right.
I
Yeah.
I just took Northfield had a range of 2480 to 2652. So I didn't know what to do, so what I did is I figured you have 4 employees?
Yeah.
Yeah.
for employees, so I just took the average for the 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
That probably was a little low.
Yeah, it is, because it's actually, I don't know why that's
Yeah.
24 numbers, because we're 24.99 to 27.31. But I'm not saying that makes us that much
No,
more.
but
I'm just,
we are a little lower, and I thought, that,
Yep.
so it
I
depends
thought
on
50 cents an hour is,
each step's slightly different, because the chart doesn't go the same amount per
Oh, I
step.
know.
So it could be everything from 52, 54 cents to 60 some cents, depending on
Mm-hmm.
each step if you go in the chart.
Well, this is also mid-year,
Yeah.
so let's keep that in mind, so.
Next year they'll start at the new step.
Right, so for those, depending on.
There's
where-
also a couple of them I think coming up this year.
Yeah,
um,
so-
Should be
you know, in
Right, if you
July,
that'll be in
they'll-
July.
If you
yeah.
do this adjustment, we don't change the fact if they're eligible
Yeah.
for a step. We don't count that as their step.
So
Right.
some of them will get their additional, based on
July
the number of
1st. Yeah.
years, on July 1st as well.
Yes.
So it'll be a two
I think all but one.
basically. All but
Well,
one.
but I'd like to discuss, I mean, I understand doing it stepwise, right, doing it carefully, but I'd like to discuss putting another uniform step raise, not including their year thing, in 6 months or something like that. I think it's reasonable that we be.
That's what we're
He
doing.
said, no, you're doing it based on year. So he said one town is 50 cents.
That would give you another step.
He said this town is 50 cent, the numbers that you said of this last average.
Yeah.
There was one that was 50 cents,
Bernardston,
$1,
Yeah,
$2 Irving. We know Irving has a lot of money from the
yeah.
land we sold them
But if we pass this goes into effect
immediately.
today.
And I'm saying in
Yeah,
6
no,
months.
this goes into effect today, or when.
Right, immediately.
And then 6 months from now, some of them are still eligible to get the
They'll get
step.
another
besides
They're going to
that.
get their year raise, which
No,
means.
No,
They're
just
gonna
step.
get
Some
another
of them are
step.
actually gonna get another step.
Okay.
And
Yes,
plus their
yes.
COLA.
Yeah.
So I comprehend what you're saying. I'm sorry I didn't use the
Yeah.
right words about
Okay.
the year raise. I comprehend what you're saying, and I'm saying from this point, I believe they should be going up 2 steps. But I understand that Bernie is saying that it's reasonable to be incremental in the raises. And so I'm saying that I would like to see if we want to put it by 6 months and take this, independent of everything else that's going on, give them another step. I think that it's reasonable that we be in the middle of the pack as far as the price range. They're doing amazing work. They saved us tens of thousands of dollars. And I think it's reasonable that they be reimbursed for that.
I think the 1 step does get us in the middle.
Yeah.
It gets us
Overall,
up to
I just
50
gave you
cents.
some of them.
Let's-
The 50 cents, 50, 60
Let's
cents
take-
gets us in the middle.
Yeah.
And that, which is what I wanted. And I was hoping that if they were getting paid in the middle, working
year.
on such a good team, they would stay.
Right, well,
I
we
don't want to just throw
clearly
money
hope
at
they
them, because if they're going to leave, they're going to leave.
Well, I didn't think anybody was going to leave. I just think we
No,
should
but I
pay them
think,
commensurate.
I
to their-
think, no, from the numbers I saw, some of them were fairly close. The other ones, the 50 cents brings us right to them.
Okay,
So
You've got-
I think 1 is very reasonable, and maybe
we can reconsider.
we can
Yeah.
reconsider sometime in the future, but for now, I thought this was a reasonable step.
Okay.
Don't forget, we have different people at different steps, so just doing this right now will help. And then I would say, look at what happens when we get through the COLA and the next step. And then you can let us know, employee by employee, if somebody's still somewhat out of whack in comparison. Yeah.
One other question, I mean, you have another position budgeted for this
Yeah.
year, right? So that's where we'd be able to get this money from for now.
Yeah, because we
Oh,
haven't
okay.
hired anybody at this
Yeah.
point.
We haven't
so,
hired anybody.
yeah.
Yep, so we're
Nice.
not,
Okay.
Yeah.
That was
So
the question I
that's
was gonna
good.
ask. You have it in your budget.
That
you'll
was,
take
that
care
was
of it.
why I,
Yeah.
otherwise I would have said this has to wait,
Yeah.
because we're not gonna change your budget at this point.
There's one department employee that's not on that list, though. I don't see one for you.
Because
I know you wouldn't submit your own.
No,
but,
because I'm off the
Chart.
chart.
So that means that we need to we need to raise the base rate of your position in order to be able to increase your steps?
You'd have to go all into the whole repurposing, grading, or the whole
No, because you wouldn't. You'd have to do it differently. It would have to be as a raise,
Okay.
because you're maxed the.
Right.
When's
Yeah.
the last time that when was he maxed?
I don't have that in front of
How
me.
When
many
were you
is it?
maxed?
Well, I think it was after my 20 years. I've been there 24, so.
So 4 years ago was the last time you got other than
I
a
just
COLA
get the
raise.
COLA raise.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we need to,
Let's make a note. This is a different topic. We have
No.
different forms,
it's not.
but it's a different amount of money and it's a different part of his budget and it's a larger part of his budget. So I'd rather separate these out and make sure we get these done for now and we can continue the discussion. But we need to keep moving here. So,
Yeah,
and I want to
because-
get these done.
Yeah,
So,
If you make a motion, since we just started a new pay week, if you wanted to make that motion, go retroactive to Sunday.
Okay.
That way you don't have to wait. It's very hard to do this in the middle of a pay week for the poor
Right.
people.
Right.
How many days at this rate? So I would say if you can back it up to
the 18th.
Sunday, then they would start fresh with the new week.
I have another
Alright.
pay question also. So most of your folks their job description, they work during the day, right? But during when they're snowing, they're out all night and do they get overtime because of the time of day or they do? Okay.
Yeah, from after 4 o'clock on.
Okay, great. Independent of whether they've worked 40 hours yet. In the
what's
okay,
in the policy.
so
Yeah, it's all in the-
let's do a
Unless they were
motion.
sick or something.
I'll
Maybe
make a
there's just
motion.
couple
let's
different-
do a motion
For the-
and it'll be retroactive to the 18th.
okay, I'll make the motion that we change the steps for the highway department workers. Give them each a bump of 1 step, retroactive to 1/18/2026.
Motion and a
Second.
Great. Want to duke that out? She got it?
She beat me.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
I would
Okay.
want to fight the man who brought chocolate to us. Come on now.
True. Mine is sweet in the pot.
Hey, could I make a motion? I don't know whether we need to make a motion or whether I would like for the discussion of the highway department supervisor, the head of the highway department, change in pay, the raise, to be discussed at the next select board meeting. That would either go on the agenda or I could make a motion and request it. What
We
do you
don't need a
think?
motion, just send an email
We'll just put
and
it-
we just put it on the proposed list.
Great.
Yep.
Well, no, I mean, I'd really like for it to be done relatively quickly. So can we do it for the next?
What I would say is take it offline, look at the budget, look at the amount, including overtime, and before you come to the next meeting. That would be my suggestion. But
think-
I can put it on the agenda,
Great.
but just do that homework.
Well, when we pay somebody what
Preparation.
they're worth, I mean, he's been 4 years without a raise, that should be
No, he hasn't
independent
been
of.
4 years without
Well,
a
he's had
raise.
the COLA raise, but 4 years
Okay,
without the
we're
step
gonna
raise.
move on. We get it, it'll be on the agenda. Please look at the budget and the overtime because this is a different classification of employee. It's a different amount. And you're gonna wanna discuss that and do the research, just like Bernie did before coming to the meeting. I appreciate the passion, but let's move on to the next thing. Tom, thanks
You're all
so
set?
much for coming in.
Okay.
Go
Thanks
home,
for
go to
such.
bed, take a nap.
I think it's snowing.
We're taking naps,
No.
right?
No, it's not snowing. Ugh.
Thank you.
Yep,
All
take
right.
it easy.
See you,
Payroll
Tony.
warrant. Can I get a motion for the January 21st, 2026 payroll warrant of $108,168.15?
So moved.
Second.
Second from Dan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Great, thanks. Can I get a motion for January 21st, 2026 vendor warrant of $160,606.39, which includes, speaking of snow removal, health insurance, and the digital equity grant?
Second.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, in the discussion portion of, can you talk about the digital equity grant? Are we paying out a portion of it or is that just includes it coming in? Why
It's
is
a
it on the?
grant.
I
So we have
understand. So-
Anything over, that we pay on the warrant, over 10,000 she lists, regardless of the funding source.
We got the money, it's been sitting in our bank, we're now
It's a
paying it out.
reimbursement.
Got it.
So we
Yep.
will file for it.
So it's always
I
listed.
see.
In
Yep.
fact, I'm working on the
Yep.
report right now.
Awesome.
Okay, great. And review and approval of the minutes.
Did
We didn't
we
vote.
didn't vote
Oh,
on
I'm sorry. God, I'm like rolling along here. All those in favor?
it. Aye.
All right, thanks for the question. Review and approval of the minutes from, let's see, I need a motion for December 23rd, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Which one? Okay.
2023.
All those in favor?
23.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I need a motion for the minutes from January 6th, 2026.
I wanted to discuss something, but I guess we can discuss it after.
So moved. We have a second?
Second.
Okay.
All those in favor?
No, I have a question
Oh,
and
discussion? Okay.
So the reason I didn't send in a correction here is because I thought it needed to be discussed. This was when we talked about the establishment of the school building committee, and it said the purpose of the committee would be to interface with the school. But that's not what we discussed here. It was more of an oversight. It was wanting to know where the spending was coming and stuff like that.
We're
So
actually talking about it again, and it's not oversight. Yeah, we talked about the whole landlord versus tenant relationship, but we didn't talk about oversight.
we sure did, and because Bernie specifically said that he didn't trust the numbers that he was hearing. So I don't have a problem with, I obviously want to discuss it again, but this is a legal document that discussed what we, that covers what we discussed in the meeting.
So what's the edit? And why isn't it in writing?
Because I felt we needed to discuss it as a group, that's why.
That's why you bring it in writing and then we
It's
discuss
the-
it.
We
just
did,
that it
that way
says
we get a
oversight.
chance to look at it ahead of time.
The word oversight should be added, I think. And that was part of our discussion in the meeting. The minutes are
Okay.
a record of our discussion.
All right, we heard that. Any other discussion on this motion?
I have a
If not-
motion, I want a motion to amend it then.
We can't, we're in the middle of a motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And a nay?
It's a legal document, and you guys just put something
I
inaccurate.
thought it was
in
fine.
We thought it was fine.
I don't like wordsmithing things.
Especially not when something,
Okay, that's
So
enough.
inappropriate was
That's
said.
enough, we're moving on. Town secretary, administrative assistant, job description. Andrea, did you want to say a few things about that? I did
Sure.
mention last week, and hopefully everyone printed out their,
Did we talk about January 6th minutes?
yeah, we just did.
That's the one.
that was the
Yeah.
one
That's
you
the one
just
we did.
agreed to.
Yeah, just-
Yeah,
Okay.
I was looking at both.
So, yeah, just to
yeah,
give kind of a
thank you.
quick rundown here, on the job description. Whole sections got changed, that's why I started originally redlining it, and then it became almost unreadable because I was crossing and then a word and then crossing, and I find that very hard to read, but I can just kind of encapsulate some of the things that are on here. For example, under the section on judgment and complexity, those are both written new, although it's pretty much takes into account the work that would be new in this job description, the HR, the insurance, assisting with like filing reports for grants, for help with more reporting and filing paperwork on, and the contracts, et cetera, for grants, like the paperwork part. So those were written to revamped because the judgment and complexity is obviously more complicated when you're doing more the insurance, the HR, the grant work. The supervisory responsibility also added the board's clerk language because in truth, she's already doing that. She's already assigning tasks to the board clerk. So when the board clerk's working in the office, Sandra has been giving her assignments in the office, filing all the back work, building permits. We've been going through, she brings boxes down and we actually go through and file them. So Sandra has had some oversight on the board's clerk inter-office work when she's not doing minutes. So I wanted to add that because these are things that are happening, but they aren't reflected at all in the job description.
well, that also includes the whole reorganization and organization and filing that goes on
Correct.
in that land use
In that
room.
office.
Yeah.
Right, and she's
Okay.
been very integral as a part of that whole process, working with the board's clerk, which is not at all, obviously, the position didn't exist when, in 2021, when
Right.
the original job description was written, so obviously there's been changes. Things like, we added new, acknowledging that she does all the website work. That's not in the job description at all for a town secretary, and it should be because she does all the website work, all of it, except for Amanda, who does post, and town clerk posts minutes and agendas. And some of them have started to edit a little bit on their pages, but essentially that's this job's. Also, I've toyed with adding something about social media. Right now, we don't do social media, but if we were to add it, this is obviously, the link would be through the website, so this position would become integral in part of the management of any kind of social media.
Did you want to put the newsletter on there?
Well, if we do it again, the problem is, right now, we just don't have the time to do it.
Right, but if we're doing this for hiring in the summer, right? So by the time we get there, that'll be
No, we're talking about hiring this position in May,
in May. Okay.
maybe even the end of April.
Okay. So maybe we should put it there just so that it's available in case we. Okay.
So also new to this, but does now, is the work on HR management, the files, the hiring, the letters, all of that Sandra's doing now, but none of that is reflected in the job description.
Yeah, because she coordinates all the interviews and stuff. and
Calls
removing
everybody
from
up,
screening
she
and-
collects all the,
Yeah.
makes sure everybody
Okay.
gets these to review if your department is hiring, she makes sure that they get to you, like she sends them to Tom. All of that is going through Sandra, but none of that is reflected. So there's a whole management part of HR. She types all the letters when we give her the information. She coordinates with boards if they're hiring. So all of this is going through Sandra, but none of it is actually reflected in the job description at all. She does insurance claims or changes to the insurance schedule if we bring a new vehicle. So you fill out the form. She does both property and vehicles, as well as she sends everything in for workers' comp or injured on duty, which is through police or fire. But none of that, again, is in the job description at all. She's already doing it, so this needs to be added. Removing.
And you're
sorry.
removing the building inspector
Removing
stuff.
references to the building inspector work and the collection of fees for it, because that building inspector is going to be moving to the FERCog. That was an understanding. When this job changed, it
I
did not
did
make
mention
sense
that,
to
yeah.
retrain this person to do that. The whole thing should move. We've already done the first steps with
What
wiring.
chunk would you say the building inspector stuff is?
I think it's periodic. She's very busy sometimes, and then other times,
Depends on busy season.
yeah.
Okay,
But we've already,
Right now it's busy.
yeah, people are getting lined up.
because they're getting ready for,
But it slows down at, probably in the late fall when people are not gonna build in the winter, but it's,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
hit or miss. Also, we're gonna remove the scrapbooking. Sorry, Sandra, I know you enjoy that piece. But it's in her job description, so she literally goes to the newspaper every day and cuts out every reference to Northfield. I said, you're gonna donate those
yeah.
scrapbooks to the library, but it's all online now.
Right, exactly.
So really, it's a leftover
It's busy work.
vestige
Yeah.
of something, but it's in her job description, so she has kept that piece. And we're gonna remove reporting to the TA with guidance from the Board of Selectmen. That's an old reference to when, before you had a town administrator, because we're not even sure what that means. Like guidance from the board to me, guidance from the board to her. That's probably when Sue Draves was here. There was no town administrator, she was kind of the administrative assistant to the select board, kind of both functions. But being someone who knows, it's very hard to say to someone, you now have 5 bosses. You're gonna get guidance from 5 people.
do your best.
Yeah, good luck with that. So that line, actually, if you read it in context, doesn't make any sense to be getting it from the town administrator with guidance of the select board of select. It still actually says Board of Selectmen in the job description.
Yes, and we
So,
corrected
so
that.
those are kind of the big changes to kind of reflect more the administrative tasks and less of the secretarial tasks, when it was a traditional secretarial position. And a lot of boards now have their own secretaries, so she's not typing minutes.
Right.
As a board's clerk, she's not doing a lot of the work for those boards and committees per se.
Which is an improvement.
So administratively, that's why it made sense to do this.
Okay.
I wonder
so
if for the
questions?
hiring we could, so there's a long list of stuff here. Are you gonna do like a percentage chart or a little pie chart or something so that people understand what portions of the job are gonna be taking more time when we're hiring?
I think that's maybe something to be discussed during the job interviews, and then Sandra, I'm hoping will be, so she won't be part of the interview team.
Right,
She
right,
can
right.
hire your replacement, but I think Sandra will be our consultant in terms of asking questions, if we get direct questions.
I think that would be good for a transition plan, because we also have which is on a future agenda, we also have the new website coming up, so.
Tomorrow.
thought it was today.
Tomorrow,
It's supposed to be today, wasn't it?
No, today
Okay.
was the last meeting,
Okay.
training meeting.
dun dun.
So tomorrow goes live, just, no, we're doing a soft launch. We know
Sandra,
there's,
you have to put on your Vanna White.
we know there's going to be things, we just want people to understand that some of it is, we already know that changes we want to make, but we want to get it out, and then we can go in and make some changes. So we just can't
Bear
keep,
with us.
we can't
Yeah.
keep picking at it, we need to
Right,
actually
right, right.
launch it at some
Well,
point.
it's actually easier to
And see how
update in
it
the new
functions.
systems.
And that guy, and the person who built it is kind of still on board for a little while to help us iron out the kinks?
Yeah, I mean, if there's things that we absolutely don't work, I'm sure we can go back to making links or things, but
Oh, you're just talking about aesthetic changes.
we're actually launching pretty much tomorrow, so
Nice.
there will be a new look. So
What's your phone number?
Extension 110.
555.
Okay.
So that will be coming, and I'm sure will be a little bit of work. Plus, she now has to start sending out the emails for the annual report, so everybody can get ready for that. So anyway, so that's kind of what's driven this change,
Okay.
because
Questions from the rest of the board?
No.
No?
I do have a
Okay.
letter of retirement.
Okay. Any other?
Wow. Are you going to read it?
So
What?
Sandra is retiring June 1st,
Officially?
2026.
Okay.
So that's why we're on a time schedule here to march through this and, distributing it, voting it, classifying it, because it still has to be classified now. After we do this,
We have to
gotta
vote on the
reclassify.
job description first.
Correct, and when you've
Yep.
made the job description, then it has to be reclassified, because it's a completely different job in some respects.
Well, let's talk about the important part, which is a party.
You're gonna have to not tell her when, because she'll hide, she won't tell.
I know what she likes for yarn, so we're good on that.
Bury her in yarn. So yeah, we are you'd be surprised at how quickly that march is going to come, and we would actually love to have a week or so with Sandra before she leaves, because it's gonna be important for someone
Okay,
to see
well,
things.
next-
I'll
next
make
step would
I'll make a
be-
motion to accept the town secretary, administrative
And I'll put the
assistant
social media newsletter piece.
job
in.
description as presented.
With an amendment
With
for
the
the
amendment.
social media.
For
newsletter.
social media.
With the
Yeah.
amendment to the
Newsletter.
social
Good
media.
catch.
I will put it in the appropriate place.
I'll second.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right,
Okay.
who's gonna classify it?
Yeah, who wants to classify?
I'll do it.
Oh, okay. Look at you, David.
Do
Thank
we
you.
need to vote on accepting the resignation? Is that, we often do that at the end?
Yeah, we'll put it on the agenda. I just
Okay.
wanted you to know it was a real thing. We'll
Got
put
it.
it
Yep.
on the next agenda.
Perfect timing. Eee, come on up. Thank you. So momentous, we just did the town secretary administrative assistant job description, so that's momentous.
Okay.
Now, we're done with classification on the assistant library director position, so we're gonna move on to that. Okay, so it looks like we had it in our packet where the four of you were.
Yeah,
Any-
so we.
Any insights or observations based on the process that you'd like to share? Do tell.
It's an interesting process.
I initially. It's hard to separate from the person from the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I initially,
Yeah.
you're like, oh yeah, he does all of that stuff. And initially ended up really high, and I'm like, that's
That
ridiculous.
always happens to me
So-
too.
So I had to redo it a second time and get it more reasonable.
I noticed Gail came up with a 9.
Yeah.
That's usually where
Well,
I
I-
am, and then I have to back up.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did,
yeah,
we
yeah.
talked about it. But if you notice, between David, myself, and Misha in the end, we were only spread by those 10 points. There was
Yeah.
actually very
Yeah.
little on the chart.
Yeah.
3 5-pointers.
Yeah. So
it's pretty
that
close.
was the only, it's
Yeah.
hard when the person's already been in the position or been at the old position, I guess, for 11 years, to separate it, so.
So yeah, so we
Has it
came to a
been 11?
consensus, and then when we're not exactly, I send out to every one of them and say, are we all good if this is the consensus, or do you want to have a meeting? If somebody feels strongly about something, but everybody came back and said, no, we're good.
Okay.
And then Misha and I talked about the recommendation for the step.
Yeah.
Where does that fall? So,
So he's right now he's at grade 5, step 7.
Yep.
But I am proposing that we do grade 6, which is where we ended up at with the reclassification, step 6. And then he's actually due for a step increase, but I'm asking to go ahead and put him at step 6 now and then forego the step increase at the change of the fiscal year. So,
Do you have that in your budget?
yes, I
Okay.
do.
that's why we run it
Yes.
past her, make sure. she's
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
And the increase is,
So the
It's
increase is,
So he's currently,
Do you-
2403 to 2562?
yeah.
yeah, so
what I
it'd be
have.
like $1.50, but it'll incorporate next year's steps.
Right.
Yeah, so
Well,
he
it's two
won't.
steps. Well, it's like 2 steps.
That's what the effect would be.
Okay, good.
And then we wouldn't do another one in July, we would incorporate it now.
Yeah, so in July he would just get his COLA,
COLA.
but not the step. And I mean, because I
Because it's like
thought,
he's getting his step.
Correct.
yeah, yeah. It could be grade 6, step 5, but I do have it in the budget to go ahead and just put him at 6 now and then forego the step. And
I think that
change
makes
the
sense.
fiscal year.
Yep. Okay. All right, let's do a motion. Oops. So we're going to approve the new classification of the programming librarian assistant director from the current grade and step of grade 5, step 7 at 2403 per hour to the recommended grade and step of grade 6, step 6 at 2562 an hour effective January 18th.
So moved.
were we gonna, is that the backdated?
Yes, to
Yeah.
Sunday.
With,
We'll backdate him to
with
Sunday.
Oh, okay.
foregoing the step at the end of the year.
Correct.
Well, yes, we'll make it a new change. I'll slip him to the next
So he'll
step.
He'll start fresh on his step
Correct.
increases.
He'll go
Okay.
from
Yeah.
even to odd.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Second.
Okay. Discussion? Nope. So this is going back to January 18th, just like we did for highway, right? Andrea?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, the
All
same
right, just-
thing.
Okay, good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So
Congratulations.
this isn't, he's not going anywhere, right?
He's not going, that's
Yay.
the plan.
Okay.
Well, that's, yeah.
That's what we're doing here.
Right?
Yeah. So yes, now he won't go anywhere.
Yes. He
He's
does
wonderful.
great work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Perfect
So
timing.
quick, I feel like I should stay and hang out.
I know. Feel free. Feel free.
Doing it.
Thank you guys.
Okay.
See you,
and
Misha.
now we're going to move on to the annual direct local technical assistant funding, otherwise known as DLTA. Did you guys have a chance to look at?
So I sent it to all the boards and committees on 1/7, January 7th,
Yep.
and asked for any comments to come back
You got
by
mine.
yesterday. The only comments I got were Matt's, which were incorporated in the homework. that you
Matt
got,
Wolkenbrink.
The prep
Yeah.
material for the meeting. So since I got that back in time, I put it on the sheet. But other than that, I have not received anything from any of the boards, committees, or departments. So, and it's.
So you sent it on the 7th, but many boards, like if they only meet once a month or something, they wouldn't have had time to meet.
Yeah, it's due
on it.
back to FERCog though. But I mean, the chair usually responds to me, like I sometimes get something from a chair. Or the chair can obviously call a meeting in 2 weeks' time if they felt there was something. But sometimes the chair will get back to me, like last year, it was the planning board chair got back to me and said, we've been talking about this. Could you check that box, could you? But we only get it from the Council of Governments a couple of days before that, and they want it back by the end of the month.
Oh, really? Okay.
So,
They never give us enough time to really look at
Right.
it.
Maybe they won't ask for anything. Listen, I have a. I'm
sometimes
sorry.
I've had people say to me, we're interested, when technical assistance comes out for the FERCog, we're interested in X, so then I would make a note of
Ahead
that.
of
But
time.
I haven't heard anything from
I
them
think
lately.
what might be helpful is put it in with the materials for the capital and the budgets at that time and get them thinking, saying that in January you're going to get another email. So if there's something, even if we use, because I looked at the form that they sent this year and it wasn't a huge change from last year. So even if they looked at the prior year and
At least get their juices flowing. on it.
exactly, because it's fairly lengthy.
I had a question actually, B, for
Yeah.
you. Because I know you've been doing the pumping stuff, and there's several, with the licensing stuff.
Oh,
And
Pumping station.
there's several items here that seem to kind of would be relevant to that. I'm curious what you think. So we had the river corridor management best practices, the pump storage, water quality and stuff like that. What's your opinion on that? Because you're kind
we're
of
already in the last year of it, so we already have the support. And so this is my question for Andre and for COG is, we had the same discussion last year that we put in money for the legal assistance, and we're getting the support that we need from Andrea Donlin. So I'm not sure that we need to take up a priority slot on here or no. We always have this perennial question.
I feel like that was already voted for money to be put forward. for
Yeah,
legal
so
on
I'm
that.
not sure, to answer your question, Sarah, and thanks for asking. We're already getting the support in that area. We have been all year long, last year, fiscal year and this fiscal year so far. I think we're still waiting for this is around the time that the final environmental impact statement will be coming out, so we'll see what's in that.
The only thing I would ask you to consider is possibly under transportation,
Yeah.
the complete streets, because
Yeah.
we finished our complete streets. In fact, we're waiting to hear, I did get that.
Oh, okay.
The state is going to help design Parker Ave sidewalks, which is essentially effectively all the sidewalks in town. And we
Nice.
can apply for complete streets funding. What we need to do is our complete streets
Re-up it.
plan
Yeah.
over, and the complete streets program doesn't.
Oh, good.
They have funding for your initial plan, but the town has done just about everything on that you had picked as a priority 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So the question now is, maybe we need a
a new
Complete
set of
Streets
priorities.
2.0.
And they've done real well by us, right? It's been very
Well, you
useful.
get a certain amount of money every year, and you backfill, so you get.
Yeah.
So as we don't do something, we get the backfill. So now we finished the sidewalks, and so we took the
Would
LEAP
that-
program to get
Would
the
that
Parker
allow
one.
us to take advantage of that recommendation to square up, the corner across from the IGA and Parker on the other
It's
side?
very possible if when they do the complete streets plan, the consultants go out and they look, and then they come back, and then you guys give them feedback on it.
Yeah.
And it's something to point out to them. They literally walk and drive all the roads and look at the sidewalks, they look at the roads, they look at the bikes, and that's something you could get in the plan. Once you get it in the
Well,
plan.
we can give them the presentation too.
Once you
so-
get in the plan, then you can go after your complete streets funding for it.
Good.
And that little triangle over by the college, remember when we moved the one at the end of Highland Ave, we took it out?
Because the stop was halfway
Yeah,
through the
yeah, yeah,
intersection.
yeah. And there's one that's coming down onto the highway that's also just kind of a pain in the butt and is confusing. I've seen some kind of near accidents on
Yeah,
that.
so all those things could go into
Okay.
a new plan, so
All right.
that you could use your funding for it off the plan.
So would that be, so there's also, I noticed the unpaved road stuff. What I heard from Tom was that, just now, was that we had a couple of little mini stretches, mini in quotations, because I know they're super expensive, of dirt roads that might need to be, now, if we were to, would those go on the complete streets, or would we need to do
No,
the?
complete streets it's not a paving project.
Okay,
It's making your streets compatible for walking, biking, driving, on all those pieces together. So
Safety.
they're not gonna say that just because it's dirt, it's,
what about that unpaved road piece that's here in transportation? There's an unpaved road
you're
one.
talking about the grant?
The
Yeah.
DLTA, yeah.
No, it's in DLTA or it's in the grant?
DLTA.
There's a new unpaved roads grant.
Oh,
It
Which-
came through.
I applied for last Thursday. But Tom wanted equipment for it.
okay. This unpaved roads assessment, assess problematic sections of unpaved roads for potential improvements that can be funded from a new state grant. That,
Yeah, could
could we use it over it on the Wendell Road thing?
I think that if you did this and they do, if that's what they're going to do, then they are gonna have in mind the process by which to lay it out, so that you're gonna use it.
Right.
So I'm assuming since they've identified it.
Okay.
Okay.
So
I'd
I've
love
got
to-
that on page 7.
Yeah, page
7 has
7.
both of those.
Okay. Did anybody have
Yeah.
anything else jumping out other than the EMS stuff?
No, I'm saying that.
I noticed Northfield's on the pollinator habitat plan on the first page. They listed
You're
us.
on the wait list.
Yes, we've been, because you've mentioned that one every year.
It's a perennial project.
It's who you're available to you. It doesn't mean you're in it. It's available to those communities. I don't think Northfield's ever gotten off the wait list yet.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
now our name is showing up. It did not show up last year. I'm noticing
Because
that.
you expressed interest in being on the wait
Okay,
list,
all
for
right.
sure. So that meant that you are now, you can put it in certainly as a priority again.
Okay, so under transportation, I have unpaved road assessments. That's
And complete
timely.
streets. Yeah.
Complete streets.
And so then the question is, usually don't we put in 4?
I think the thing wants you to do
3 to 4, top 3.
your municipality's top
We
three
always try and
choices.
slip in a 4th.
Okay. So which of the Matt ones are we going to put in then? Because he asked for 4 all by himself.
Although to me, those are all one.
Right?
The
That's-
EMS, like regionalization sharing, is like one. I don't
I
know why
would-
they've split it into.
Andrea, I would chat with FERCog about that
Yeah.
because
Well, one's West County and one's Montague in particular, so.
Yeah.
not
Montague
sure.
in particular would be interesting. So,
The other one he identified
and I'm not sure where
was-
FERCog is with those services.
Yeah,
So
and the other one
let's-
he identified was emergency preparedness response.
Right. So if we had to pick between those 3, I would think that the bottom one, emergency medical services sharing, because it just excludes Montague, because we don't have West County.
There are West County.
Oh, 10 towns in West County. So then we just do West County. I was thinking that was the name, sorry. Brain fog.
They called, yeah, Franklin County.
So why don't we just do, why would we need, why do we need the last one
I
then?
don't, I think he selected him because he was interested in the topic.
Okay.
And I don't know,
This is also an ongoing discussion that we've been having with FERCog about, we've done regionalization, we're further ahead than other services here. So part of it was, do you need help? Do you want us to participate in some of these discussions with people? Because as 4 towns, we've already done it. And we've also had discussions with a couple of other areas, including the Berkshires. So I think we're developing kind of an expertise that would be interesting to keep an eye on that. So that's something I've mentioned to FERCog already, but I think it might be helpful, Andrea, if you sort that out with them on whether that counts as a priority.
I see. That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Could we clarify what we're about to vote on? The choices that we're voting on?
I've just listed them, I don't have them in any particular order. I have complete streets update plan, unpaved road assessment, and
Yeah.
then,
Well, and then the EMS, if we can only put up to 4, I think we should maybe put the response
the
one.
question for FERCog is.
And then
Of
count
what
these
part?
last 3 as all one?
The question for FERCog is this going to benefit our regionalized service in any way, shape, or form, depending on where each of those areas are in their process? I don't think they're that far. That's why I'm thinking we'll probably be more in a support kind of consulting role than anything else. So that's why I'm thinking it's,
You're saying we're kind of almost already there for now.
Yeah.
They're not ready to take the next step and
yeah,
go next region.
but we need to confirm that. And
yep.
they have Tracy Rogers on board now. She just started, so it would be good. The one that I saw on page 4, under emergency management was, which does tie with our goals and objectives, is strengthen emergency preparedness and response.
Matt
Support.
also
Right,
picked
yeah,
that one
that
too.
one's-
Yeah, what I'll ask them
So I like that one.
is maybe that's too premature. The EMS regionalization piece might be, should we wait? Is it premature?
It may be a
for
different topic than
Northfield
this.
to join at
Right,
this point,
yeah.
since we've sort of regionalized, when they've come
Let's-
further down the road, maybe with other communities.
Let's clarify with Tracy Rogers and Linda
Yep.
Dunleavy.
But I definitely think that strengthen should be the third of the, like if we have 3, and then the question is about those others.
Okay.
Yep.
So then the other one you liked was EMS preparedness?
The same one
I'm
that
sorry,
Matt had.
preparedness?
Number 4,
Okay.
emergency management, strengthen whatever we can do to get help for getting
It
the
says-
goals and objectives
Yeah.
that we've had on there
Strengthen
for like
emergency
3
preparedness
years.
and response. It's on page 4.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's midway down, under regional debris.
That's a huge deal, debris disposal, don't?
Yeah, no, I'm not
No,
knocking
it was,
it, but
when she said it was under regional debris, it made it sound like emergency
Buried under
preparedness was
regional
debris.
Okay, so those are the three then you're going with. Do you have a particular ranking here? Complete streets, unpaved road, emergency management, et cetera. Preparedness.
come-
Anybody?
I would go in that order, I think. Let's get this intersection squared away as part of the complete streets. I'm really bullish on let's fix, if Parker's the only one left, let's make sure that the connections on Main Street, the one that you mentioned, where Moody Street connects with Main Street / Route 10, and where, is it Warwick right here?
Oh, by the IGA?
With the huge,
Thing in the middle, huh? Uh-huh.
yeah.
And
That-
people are always complaining about the light
The
doesn't work.
visibility is
and-
not
yeah.
good, the crosswalk is not good there. The crosswalk going, especially going from.
Going north and south is way
Yeah.
around the corner.
Right, we have one going across Main Street, but the whole thing needs to be squared up.
Yep.
And that was in that presentation that placemaking guy did, so, yeah,
I agree.
yep. So that's why I would put that one up just above the unpaved road.
So those are, just to reiterate, to make sure that I have it straight in my head, the complete streets is about walking, riding, safety, accessibility.
Right, making it complete so that it's for all users.
Oh, okay.
Nice,
Got it.
okay.
Thanks.
Does that sound good to you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on that?
No, I do have one question. We had talked about money to make sure that we could do web meetings and stuff like that. Is there a technology grant? I didn't see one on this.
It's not on the DLTA,
No,
it's different.
that's a state grant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can
And
we-
we applied?
Not yet, it's not due till February 5th. I'm working on it with Northeast IT.
Excellent.
Okay, Pioneer Valley Northfield Elementary Facilities and Feasibility Study, MSBA. So I think they're going to be discussing and possibly voting on
Did you
that.
skip the environmental preferable products policy?
No, that's at the end.
It's the last one.
I figured that one would
They're
be,
backwards on my notes,
Sorry.
My bad.
no, we had it up there originally and then I'm like, I think that would be
I
an
must have
easier
had an
one
old
for the
version.
end, yeah.
Okay.
This one's gonna be a bit of a sticky wicket,
Did
so.
did you get to?
I gave you all a letter,
Yes.
an email.
Yes.
It's here. That came in at 4 o'clock today
Yes.
from the attorney.
Yeah, clear as mud.
Well, I think I understand what he's saying.
What is he saying? I mean, I know what he's saying, but he kind of said two things, one of which is very consistent with what I heard from Leiden.
I have it here somewhere, so I can, because I read it over several times. Of course, now it's not here, right? So I have my notes on it. So, from the information that's provided there, you understand the PBR submitted 3 statements of intent to MSBA for the grant funding. MSBA accepted only one of those statements of intent, and that was the one that specifically addresses the Northfield Elementary School. MSBA requires the Pioneer Valley to appropriate the full amount of the costs for a study, bear with you in it, and costs would then be shared amongst member towns pursuant to regional school agreement. That's in a normal circumstance. However, based on the information provided, it appears the scope of the study is solely NES. While PBRS may intend for one building to house NES, Bernardston Elementary, and the middle school, high school, his understanding is that the statement of interest accepted by MSBA does not reflect this. So that doesn't mean MSBA is going in that direction, or could choose to go in that direction, or could support that direction, because what they chose was the NES study.
Which also means that Northfield will bear the brunt of the
Well, that's
entire.
the question. As MSBA sets the scope of the study, not the district, there is no guarantee that PVRS's intent for one building would be included. So
Correct.
they're trying to use NES to say, well, it doesn't make sense to fix this building, let's go to one building. But what they're saying here is, there's no guarantee MSBA is gonna go with that. It's their
Decision, their
decision to
process.
set that, intent.
Has this been forwarded to the superintendent?
No, not yet.
No. Okay.
I cut it at 4 o'clock today.
Ah.
Further, as he says, I understand that Leiden Finance Committee has raised some concerns regarding the potential shared costs of the study. As NES building is owned by the town and leased to PVS, this is a legitimate concern. He cites a section of law of a section of the regional agreement that provides that each member town is responsible for paying their own capital costs for its respective elementary school. So, his conclusion is if the scope of the study is solely NES's building, the other member towns pursuant to the regional agreement would not be liable for these costs.
So we'd be on the hook
There's the
for,
catch that he's saying in his opinion, that he doesn't feel that they would be liable. And then, given the limited scope of the feasibility study, the limitations set by the district agreement, it is his opinion that it's unlikely the member towns would even approve the funding. Because they could still vote to go along.
Right?
They could choose to. But what he's saying here is, I don't think they'd be held liable. And second of all, I don't think they're going to vote for it.
Okay.
That's the legal opinion from our attorney.
little history,
Do we know how much of an ask this is?
$1,200,000.
$1.2 million.
1.2.
1.2 million.
So the towns are gonna be asked to fund all
The
that.
town, the one town.
Town.
Well, she could ask
However,
all of the towns, but if they vote no, and they want to continue, it will all have to come through
So the
North.
district's not kicking any money in.
They're
Here's,
kicking some,
What's the total that the towns would be
They haven't given
getting?
us
Because
the
I've heard,
ask.
it's a
So-
fluctuating number, right?
Yeah, I haven't heard a specific number
Okay.
yet.
so
At least I haven't received one.
here's what has happened as far as, they were gonna use school choice money, that went away for
Health
insurance, health insurance. So the
Not
next thing is, the study, we would be on, I think it was like 58%, the state would kick back to us. There's a percentage there, and I'm not sure, it's kind of floats out there.
That's the highest I've ever
But-
seen the state give, so.
Yeah, so say they only gave 48%, paying back, but it's still $200,000
yeah.
that the town would be on the hook for. And that, again, and all that is to go through the school and basically look at the problems and the cost of the problems and say, is it cheaper to do this than this, is what I think the school is looking for.
I think they call it a feasibility study because they decide if it's feasible to do
the change.
Yes,
project.
yes.
I'm super confused because last year we got these binders that were feasibility study.
No,
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 it
that's
wasn't.
just
different.
an assessment.
That's different. That was assessment. They went through
They brought in a
and looked at the
consultant.
school, and they looked at areas where there was a need to repair, replace, or
That they
whatever. I
felt
have one
were
of
in
those. If you want to
deficit.
see it, I'll give it to you.
I have it. Yeah.
It's a,
My thinking as far as doing that, and this is just me,
Yeah.
if you're going to be on the hook for $1.2 million, if you put that into your building itself, you're going to take care of a lot of those issues. Now, regardless of what happens, you're still stuck with the building one way or another.
Right.
And you still would have to bring it up to speed. So if you're thinking this is you doing it as an investment, I would say if we're going to be on the hook for $500,000 or $1.2 million, you invest it into the building because it's ours. Or you vote it down. I mean, the taxpayers of the town of Northfield, I don't know if they want to look at spending $1.2 million for a study. They spent so much money for other studies in the last 10 years, and a lot of it has not come to fruition. So this is a big ask, I think, of the taxpayers of the town of Northfield.
Especially since the general consensus of anyone I've talked to is they don't want to close the elementary school.
Who they are the people of the town of Northfield?
People of the town.
Well, people of the town of Northfield, if that's what they're feeling, then and we're going to get into that in the next part of this. But the feasibility study is I blatantly told the other two towns when we were at the meeting, and if they had to make a decision on Northfield doing this, having this structure, and they were going to have to chip in money, vote it down. Why should another town have to pay for another town's building? Which makes sense to me. I wouldn't want to pay for Bernardston if it's only a survey that was going to be done for Bernardston.
When you told other towns.
I've talked to the other select board
No,
and
they-
finance committee members about this
well, they've,
At the meeting.
at the meetings. They thought it was kind of ridiculous that they're going to do the study in Northfield, but they might be on the hook for paying for whatever their portion would be, their
Well, I think
assessment.
the surprise came, I think we all assumed, based on the Cannon report,
Right.
that it would be one proposal and that it would involve moving Bernardston and Northfield Elementary Schools into one building over where the high school is. And we didn't pick up on, I went back and I looked, and it was voted on 3 separately. I didn't see any discussion notes on it in the school committee's minutes. And once that kind of dawned on everybody at the December meeting that we were at, both Leiden and Bernardston went,
Yeah,
what
why
do
should
you
I?"
mean we're going to take on debt and it's only going to be for the Northfield Elementary School, because that was the only statement out of the 3 that was accepted by the MSBA.
Right.
And the hope is, I know from the discussion with the school committee and the superintendent, is that the MSBA, after a year or so of this process, will then conclude that the best thing for the students is to move them into a new building over on the campus. But that was where we had been expressing some concern that, which Jeff now mentions, that's why I asked Andrea to ask Jeff, was there's no guarantee from it might be a likely outcome, but there's no guarantee after this process and spending the money, incurring the debt, even with the reimbursement, there's no guarantee that that's the conclusion MSBA would come to.
That they would fund.
Right. I have a
And if
couple questions for you.
MSBA comes to that determination that they think that they should go ahead and coalesce all the schools into one new building, the towns still need to fund it.
All 3
Yes,
towns would
all
need
three.
to
But it's
fund
a
it.
goal of the diocese,
So what if the
right?
towns don't fund it?
Well, the towns would always have to vote at some point to incur the debt.
What if they say no?
Then you don't do it because MSBA can't.
And we're stuck with the
So then that money
million
just
too.
gets flushed, for want of a better phrase.
Correct, and it's,
No,
again,
they would vote on it. We want to make sure that Patricia's emails get out
Yeah.
with all the links to this. These are the steps that their treasurer put together. So if they vote, if the school committee votes on Thursday to incur the debt, then within 7 days of the school committee's affirmative vote, the district treasurer sends notice to the select boards of the 3 towns. Then the select boards each need to either accept that or call a special town meeting for the voters
you have
on the
60
debt.
yeah, and you have 60 days in which to do that.
And we have 60 days to do that.
So who summarized those steps?
Kimmy
they're
Lemika,
under
the
the
district
law.
treasurer.
That's Mass General Law.
Yeah, this is all Mass General Law, but she summarized it and then also had draft town assessments for debt services over 5 years.
But that's saying town
And do we
assessment,
have
that's
copies of
plural. That's not-
Correct. That was their assumption. That's why,
Do we have copies of this?
We can, where'd I get it? I had one, but
well,
who passed
we've
them
been
out? We
going
can get
to
them
the
out. Yeah,
meetings,
yeah.
so that's why we
We-
have the
we get 'em from the
handouts,
meetings.
but they are on the PVRS website.
Yeah.
So what I've been asking Andrea to do whenever I get an email from Patricia, which summarizes the meeting that we
look and see
just
if I
went
have that
through,
one.
I've been asking her to send that out to the entire select board and finance committee. So far, 2 finance committee members and you and I have been going to the school budget hearings and the feasibility.
So just to clarify,
Yep,
the school board is going to vote in 7 days.
they're going to vote on Thursday,
They're going to vote on
yeah.
Thursday.
potentially.
And theoretically, they're going to vote on whether or not to say that they want to do this assessment. And if they were to vote to do the assessment, meaning the assessment of the property, somebody looking at the property, that they would then assess the cost of that to
No,
They're
us.
going to
no.
vote on whether or not to ask the towns to incur the debt.
Correct.
I
They've
see.
already
Yeah, let me
may
just-
or may not have
let me
voted on
just-
the other
Let
piece.
me just read that again. The PVRS school committee, 2/3 of the members must vote affirmatively to incur debt in the amount of 1.2 million with a 58% reimbursement rate, which I'm not sure is a guarantee.
That's
Okay.
what I was going to ask.
I'm not sure the 58% is a guarantee, so that would be a good question. For a feasibility study with a maximum repayment plan of 5 years determined by Mass General Law.
And what's that, what would, if it were, what's the total of the reimbursement? Do they divide it by by the
No,
towns? or
it
do
would
they
be one
divide-
town according to what we were getting here.
Well,
something
I
like-
understand,
yeah,
but
I
I'm
know.
asking what the
question,
money
I
is.
don't know.
So then she did a draft town assessment for the 3 towns for debt services over 5 years. So in year 1,
$420,000.
this would be FY '28, Northfield would be 59, the total for the 3 towns would be 121,680. Northfield's portion of that would be almost 60,000.
And that's presupposing 58% reimbursement, which we don't know is a fact.
As far,
Guaranteed.
correct, and also, that's also assuming that all 3 towns vote affirmatively and that Bernardston, that's why we're also absorbing this language from town council at the same time where he's saying, it sounds like it's a Northfield only thing, which means that would be 100, if it was a Northfield only thing with the same numbers,
$420,000.
it would be 121, almost 122,000 for the first year, with a total of 567,840 over 5 years.
If they got the reimbursement.
Right.
At a
The 50.
60/40 split.
And and they were saying that's not total guarantee either, the 58%.
Right. Gosh, my stomach is hurting.
Yeah, I know. It
So
makes me dizzy.
let me ask a question, maybe somebody here knows. Why do we need that? Why use that assessment? Why do a $1.2 million assessment? Is that a group that the MSBA requires? Is that like, why are we paying $1.2 million? We could have, I know this sounds kind of, I tend to go back to my running the household thing. We could hire somebody to walk in and say, do this, do that, right? Why is it $1.2 million?
Well,
That's what
Dan
we're
was
going to talk
saying.
about next, because
Okay.
we'll be putting that committee together to go and walk through and
Right.
see what needs to be done.
But that's different.
And like I said, if we were on the hook for, say, the $500,000, if we're going to look at it half, which
No,
is what we're
but
going to pay.
MSBA has a specific
Yeah, they have
requirement
to
for
do
the
that,
assessment.
Right, so that's why
Yeah.
it's
So
$1.2
you're
million.
gonna hire an engineering firm that's going to come in and do the assessment
have
to the
to do the
scope and
whole-
standards that the MSBA will accept.
You have to do an OPM, you have to do everything by mass general procurement, just like if you recall, perhaps you don't want to tonight, if you recall the whole process we went through with the public safety complex of hiring an OPM, that's really what would be required as part of the feasibility study. And that's before you get to the, if you recall from the tech school discussion, that's before you get to the design phase.
Oh yeah, that's if your project even gets accepted.
Yeah,
But at this point,
right.
they're saying, here's the requirements,
Yeah.
and I'm sure it's a book of what we will accept for your assessment. You have to cover all these steps, because we're not moving you further in the process
Right.
unless you answer all these questions. So that assessment then becomes a
Yeah.
scope of work that they will have to bid to an engineering firm to answer all of the MSBA in those
Questions.
questions.
Yep.
I have to admit, I really think that Dan's logic makes a lot of sense. You've heard me say that the town, I've never heard any towns members say they want the elementary school to not, like everybody wants to be able to walk to elementary school. In the world in which we did everything over there, we would still have this building, and it's fabulous building. There's so many things that could be done with it. So either way,
You've got to bring it up to speed,
we have to,
regardless.
right? It needs
Yeah.
a roof and all this kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
So, but the thing that worries me, I want to make really sure, and I know everybody else here does too, that the citizens are represented. I would feel really uncomfortable. Like, I understand they say we want money and then we want to do this thing and then we go have a special town meeting. We would need to really make sure that we were squared away on the details and were able to kind of impartially give the facts here. Because we've been sitting here for 15 minutes. We've been swimming in it for a while. People are going to walk in not knowing all this, and in order to make a vote, because I think that the knee-jerk reaction is, for Northfield, they're like, yes, take care of the kids, take care of the EMS. It's often that, and I want to make sure that we have all the options really clearly. Me, transparency. So I know that I understand that everybody else agrees with that. I just wanted to kind of put my strident wish in for making sure that we really get down to brass tacks, because the 400, this new information with the letter, The fact that we're doing, what,
This
$400,000?
This also comes when we went to the last meeting last week.
Yeah, that was just a regular
When we were
budget.
talking about the budget is taking the draft budget, the version 2 of their draft budget is over 15% higher than it was last year. So we're also talking about a huge hit to the annual operating budget, as well as asking voters to take on
It's additional cost.
debt.
Which would also be kind of for a wishy-washy, we don't know. It's just an assessment. And at the end of the assessment, we may or may not be able to do anything with it, right?
Well, I keep going back to my original assumption was I knew what the vision was coming out of Canon. It wasn't necessarily what I agreed with, but I was assuming when we were dealing with MSBA, or when the school committee was dealing with MSBA, that it was for the 3 combining into one building.
Right.
And there is some logic to doing that. That cuts your costs way down by having all your operating
The
costs
admin,
in one building. So it's not far-fetched to propose that. It's just, I don't think people who were through the earlier process with the Canon study, I don't think completely understood what the potential finances would be and how many steps there would be and how each step would be fairly expensive. And just having it be the Northfield Elementary School rather than one vision it doesn't make sense to me at this time.
The other thing I want to make people aware of is the building that exists, Pioneer Valley Regional School, was built to house 700 students, high school students, okay? Their projections, their highest projection of students, if you look into 2030, is 600. So they're not going to reach their highest goal that would maximize that building. So worst case scenario, if this does not become available, and Bernardston is, they could revamp the school there without technically building a new school. The existing high school will hold 700 students.
So you're saying that becomes the regional elementary and middle school, and then
That would become K through 12, could be the whole school. All the kids in our whole district can go there.
well, if they're talking about 600, we have more than 100 K through 6.
The building's built for 1,100 students.
No, 700 total.
It's currently,
And ours is for 6, so it would have to be split no matter what.
it's currently, and that's assuming that you agree with the projections, that
The projection for 600 is total population of the school, total,
K to
not
12.
just, yes,
Oh, I see.
yes,
Yeah.
that's what it's, that's
For the
projection.
district.
I
That's an
misunderstood.
For the
ambitious-
district.
That's
Yeah.
ambitious
What?
projections.
Well,
And that
all of
was,
Western
yeah, it
Mass,
was.
all the
Yeah, it
schools
was.
are
Yeah.
going down.
So I'm sorry, I wasn't clear on that. That's the whole
I see.
school system.
Okay.
and right now that building is like at 38%.
Right.
So
And that 15% increase, is that because of the insurance?
among other things, so they made some decisions this past year to because everybody already experienced health insurance increases. School districts are going to have higher amounts because they have more employees. So 30% increase this past year means they utilized some of the money they were going to use for the feasibility study. The feasibility study is now more than it was projected to be at. It was like 800,000 to $1 million was my understanding last winter. And so they cut some positions and put some positions on hold and combined some others and did some other things to not send out additional assessments to the towns to actually
Didn't
absorb
hire,
the health
yeah.
insurance increase. Now what they're doing, what this budget is putting back in all those positions and taking care of health insurance and not utilizing school choice funds the way that they were projected to do last February, because they're going to still
Although
keep
they are
some of
using
it.
some of the school choice funds for this
But
year.
not as much.
Yes, 575,000.
Yeah. So all of this is posted on the PVRS website underneath finance, and the key,
I think what you're gonna see though, is you're gonna see for our next meeting, if they do vote on it Thursday, it will come before us, our next meeting.
Yeah, that's why, well, let's move on then, and we don't want to get
No.
too stuck on this, but we do want to absorb like the impact of both the budget changes as well as the potential the feasibility study news combined with the update from Jeff Blake that it might be a just Northfield on the hook for it.
Also, the Finance Committee, when you're talking about the feasibility study, the Finance Committee had some questions that they had me reach out to MSBA about
Oh, good.
directly. In regards to the feasibility study timeline, the FinCom's understanding was that there was a 270-day timeline allowed by MSBA. When did this timeline actually begin? They're a little confused as to when the clocks actually started ticking. And it looks like it was in mid-December or maybe a couple months earlier, so they asked for some clarification on the MSBA timeline. So I don't
Good.
have that answer.
Okay,
The
so you'll,
second question they asked was, based on the response, the letter that the MSBA sent to the school district. If you'll recall, the MSA sent something to the school district saying, hey, you're getting all these letters from the towns regarding their concerns. And apparently at the 12/22/2025 school committee meeting, the superintendent read a quote from each letter and spoke to those quotes. And the finance committee wanted to know if that was enough of a response from the district to the questions that were being posed in the letters, because the towns hadn't received anything otherwise.
yeah,
So those are the two questions they've asked of the MSBA. Just wanted you to know those were out
good,
there.
thank you, because that was one of my questions too. Okay, and this was the document that I was talking about. So they produce one of these every time there's so this is version one, this is version two.
Yeah, we could probably send them out.
And they're on the website under finance. Okay, so the next thing, what you have in the packet were the other questions, not the MSBA questions, but PVRS will be meeting jointly with us and the FinCom on February 2nd, and they would like to get a bunch of questions by January 26th if possible, to just kind of help them orient their presentation. And so the Finance Committee is already ahead of us, and we included that in the packet, which I can't find at the moment. So why don't we take a look at those and see what you would like to add to that?
These ones?
Yes.
Oh, is that different?
Online,
than
it's
way?
on, it's right after the
Questions for
CPD.
school committee from the
Oh,
Finance
right,
Committee.
right here.
I'd like to add,
What do you have?
they use software package, they use Rediker, I believe, for their,
Oh, you wanted to understand the
I wanted
master
to
school.
see their master schedule report, which
Okay.
will give you things like the teacher, how many sections, how many different sections of a class are there, how many students in each section. That's some, things that we should, before we vote on their budget, we should have that sort of information.
Understand the number of
And they,
students.
I think, believe in Rediker too, it's, they have a scheduling report writer that their formats should be able to get that to us.
Okay. Andrea, are you capturing these so that we can add to the Finance Committee one?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
I don't know what Rediker is, but I will.
That's
can-
a
I
type
know, but I
of,
meant the name of it.
It's a master schedule.
So I
When
can.
is
it's a
it?
master schedule report,
I understand the concept, I just don't know
Yeah,
how to
me-
spell it. I don't know what it is, like what the actual title is, but I can
yeah.
check in with you, Bernie.
I'm sorry, Bernie, when do they want the questions by?
January 26th.
I'll send you my questions,
Okay.
because I want to look, so what budget are they on now?
Version 2.0, and we're coming up on the 26th is the budget subcommittee,
We
and,
can vote on it, right?
And make
well,
sure.
they're not going to vote on it, but they're, the version 3 will be next week on the 26th. So we're putting together this list of questions. What I've also made clear is that doesn't preclude spontaneous questions that come up in the midst of discussion, right?
Sure, hope
As the
not.
understanding. So, but I think it would help at least organize things into appropriate categories for
My
them.
wife is getting some
Yeah,
of these.
yeah, I want to just make sure that they
She's
don't,
got them.
Okay,
they-
that's what this
Yeah,
one.
I have the list from
Okay,
Lindsay,
all
which
right,
is all the.
all right.
So David, you're going to send yours to Andrea. She's going to add to the total list.
I have one to add.
Okay,
And I wanted to finish up.
oh,
just
go ahead, you've got
Make
others.
sure
Okay.
on the master schedule, make sure that we don't want a curriculum or course studies. We want an actual schedule.
That shows how many.
This shows actual classes
Classes.
being run, not things that are offered. Because they can give you a big, long thing. We want to see what's running and what kids are in them, how many teachers are doing, how many classes. Yeah. So
Good.
that way we can take a, more informed look at their budget.
Anything
Okay.
else, Bernie?
No, that's it.
Okay, Sarah, you had one?
Just about the 58, there seems to be some question whether that 58% is guaranteed. So I want some information about whether, what the percentages are and what the likelihood is perhaps, or whether they're guaranteed, that sort of thing.
MSBA reimbursement.
So that would be feasibility study, not budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you ask MSBA as part of the follow-up whether or not the 58% is guaranteed or not? Or that's just anticipated, the reimbursement rate?
Or was that the highest, or it could be this, it could be this.
It
is
could be
what
lower.
And yeah,
That would
Good
aspirational.
question,
Yeah, best case scenario.
Right.
I'm always about worst case, so
exactly.
give me the worst case and the best case. Okay, and then my other question, Andrea, and I will send this to you, is you and I were talking about it the night I was going through the budget, was I wasn't totally clear that the health insurance amount was totally projected forward, because I was doing the math from February of 2025 to FY '26, and then I'm looking at FY '27, and I wasn't getting the math of the increase. I don't see the full increase reflected, and that just could have been me screwing up the calculator, but I'll do that separately with you, so
Okay.
we don't have to get into it.
Okay. I made notes, so I'll be looking for them.
Okay, great. Irene.
Is it possible for you to print out their budget 2.0 version on legal sheets or those galley
Yeah.
sheets?
Yeah, I printed it out on legal sheets today.
Can I have a
I
copy?
mean, you want it
You
on
want the
Ledger.
spreadsheet?
You want it on Ledger.
You
it on
want
the big.
this? You want the draft budget?
Yeah, I want the ledger, yeah, that one.
Yeah, you want it in color and
Yeah,
full
I
size.
printed one of those
Yeah.
out today.
Yeah, I fold mine in half. Yeah.
Can I stop by tomorrow and grab one?
I can have mine on my desk, but up
Stuff
to
from my
date.
office, I'll give you mine.
I could do that later.
I have
You
it.
could do one for me too.
Okay, I'll print out a few of them.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm first.
Yeah, put David's on top.
I'll just push two.
I have these kendo swords that are like made out of bamboo. I'll bring them. You guys can fight it out.
I do have something, I just
What?
bumped my head here. It says that PVRS is to appropriate the full amount in costs, okay? It's borrowing, right?
That's the appropriate that I was talking about.
When they come to us and they said, we're appropriating this money, they would ask us to okay the borrowing? Because there's a difference there. Because if it's not, there's a 2/3 vote. If we're looking at borrowing money,
The 2/3 vote is theirs.
is theirs, okay.
Yeah.
So
They're
we don't have
appropriating-
that 2/3 vote to deal with then. Is that
No, I
correct?
believe that it's actually a majority vote in the towns. There was
It
some
is a
discussion
majority
about
vote.
that.
Okay.
The 2/3 is at the select board level. They're appropriating the
The
money.
school board level.
Yes, school committee level.
Not
They're
select
appro-
board, yeah.
The school committee level,
Okay.
is they're appropriating and sending you the 2/3 vote.
Okay, so then it's a majority vote if we have a special town meeting.
I believe so, yes,
Okay.
that's,
Because the people want to be aware of that. They say, well, 2/3 vote don't get passed too often, but majorities do.
Yeah. And if we're actually okay with the borrowing, we do not need to call a special town
Right, you
meeting,
could
but
let
I
it go.
cannot imagine not putting this in front of the voters, so.
Right.
No,
I
it's their money.
skipped that step.
John, you want to get,
Okay, good, all right, moving right along. I just wanted to double back on the, now that we've had this discussion, is chat a little bit more about the elementary school building committee. And we have somebody, Robin Vandermatt from the finance committee is going to sit on that. Bernie's going to sit on that. And then.
We had an interest, right?
just from the public.
Not yet. No, we have an interest for the
Emergency
regular
services.
building committee.
Got it.
Not the elementary school one, although it might be nice to get them on there too. Okay, let me just get rid of
So
that.
to give you some history,
Yeah.
when I started in 2019, there was a building committee for the school. It was winding down. There was only a couple of residents on it. Myself attended, the principal attended. I don't think the superintendent ever came, but somebody with building. So there was
Yeah.
five people.
The facilities
That were
director.
kind of, I don't know if they had a facilities director, but it was somebody, I think, did facilities, yeah, maybe it was the facilities director.
Right.
But, so that was the group that met, and we had a list, and I went and looked back on it, and it's much of what has been done. I mean, the canopy was on it, those front doors were on it, originally the roof was on it, but it was determined that they could patch a section, they didn't end up with the whole roof. So there was the bathroom, they were really big on that bathroom
And it got done.
renovation, that got done. They needed an IT upgrade, oh no, the town spent about $600,000 in the first few years, because they really needed the clocks and the radios and the IT, I mean, they had wires coming out, you know, with extension cord, all that was done.
Right.
That was a $500,000 project, the bathroom was like $300,000, like they were, so there was a group going through that process. And much of those were done.
And with COVID, we did all the ventilation stuff.
And there was actually some work done on the furnaces, because the finance committee had to do a reserve fund request. Now, I think the heating system over there is a big problem that needs to, a nut that needs to be cracked and put on. But there was also air source heat pumps put in under the green communities in several, not every room, but in several of the rooms to deal with heating and and cooling additional. So there's been a fair, I don't want people to think the town has ignored the buildings, because there has been a fair amount of work done. The last couple of years, the requests they've asked for have things like they had to do a whole new walk-in cooler system, they had to do
Yeah.
a grease trap, they did the canopy, they did, so all of those things have been presented. That committee
And were
kind of.
voted on at town meetings as
Correct.
capital.
Correct.
Yeah.
And,
Just so
um,
everybody gets that.
That committee somewhat fell apart. I think just getting people to come. People got off it and nobody wanted to get on it. So I would just advise that you make a small, nimble committee, because if you make a big committee, you're never going to get them all in the same room at the same time.
Right.
And that committee was 5, and it was still, even when they were all on it, you're lucky if you got 4 to
Yeah.
show up. Sometimes it was just 3 of us, because people have jobs and days, and you know, because it met during the day, it met at the school. Because the school wanted to meet in the school, and went to look at things, and it was the school staff was working during the day. They didn't want to come to an evening meeting, so the residents were coming at night, coming during the day, but both of them, I think, were retired by then. So
Right.
it becomes complicated when you make a very large committee, especially if people on it are.
And right now
Well, it
we
puts
have.
limitations on who can attend. too.
Yes.
Right. So what I wanted to clarify was at the last meeting, we said approximately 5, and we ended up with more than 5. So I just wanted to clarify that we're looking for a more nimble committee, probably in the range of 5, like this group.
We know how nimble we are.
Well, we're not.
And remember,
We have different things that we need to
Every
do. And we meet
project-
every 2 weeks.
every
so-
project that gets done, because it's an NES building, I managed. I hired an engineer, and sometimes I had them, you know, we had to hire engineers, and sometimes we paid them to do some oversight in the project, but it all ran through the town. Because
Correct.
it's
And
a
it-
town
and it
capital
still
building.
would, that's where the landlord part comes in.
The town would still manage
But we
all
do
those
have
projects,
this, not this binder, but the binder.
which I think the committee would start with.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good starting place.
Yeah, so that was the other thing. I just wanted to put 3 statements in front of you that I think would orient the committee. And one would be, the first statement would be, or to do, task, review the canon report, because that's looking ahead, or looking at where we're at. And then the second thing would be to review past and present capital requests. And we basically just got an overview of what have we done to date, when were they done, so everybody has a sense of the history. Look at the canon report, compare the two, right? And have a sense of what needs to be done with Northfield Elementary, and have that discussion with the school, with our tenants.
And prioritize the,
Correct. with our
their group,
tenants,
yeah.
right? So what I would also put as a third statement, depending on which word you want to use, would be to clarify and cooperate on the maintenance versus owner responsibilities. I think we've been doing that, but from some of the past meetings, and I think it's changed with each superintendent, and I think it would be nice to just clarify what is happening from a maintenance standpoint. That did come up at our December 22nd meeting from a couple of the school committee members. What's in the annual operating budget for maintenance, right? Because we don't want to downplay maintenance to the point where then we have really expensive capital projects, because maintenance has kind of gone by the wayside.
And that was
So there's a balance
There
with
was a
those
big
two.
issue in the redoing, well, it was a big issue when they were doing the Heart study, which was the first attempted look at
Yeah.
a new regional agreement, and it's still in the regional agreement, there's big areas where there's big discussion
yeah.
on what is maintenance, when does it hit maintenance? And often it's a threshold. If it's over
Right.
X amount of dollars, it's now a capital request.
Right.
If it's under that, it's so that's still somewhat
Well,
squishy.
I wonder if something that this committee might usefully discuss is, and maybe this is what you're talking about, so let me clarify.
Yep.
Some sort of maintenance oversight on when implementing in the lease, when maintenance is done, so that then we're not deferring important stuff that's
Yeah,
causing
that's
like-
exactly what I said.
Got it.
Yeah, right. You don't want to defer maintenance, and that's where the big spreadsheet
That's-
comes in, right? Because they're going to have maintenance things listed for each of the buildings in here. So it's important to understand what that covers and whether or not we feel like, okay, is there anything being quote-unquote deferred,
Right.
right?
But we're still responsible for the roof. We own that building.
The roof, the heat, the windows, yeah.
So independent of that, we need
The
to,
envelope.
we
Right.
got to
Or the
do some
envelope,
stuff pretty
yep.
soon.
Right, but it would be helpful if we clarify, if the committee clarifies that, so we start understanding the dollars better, and then we can explain them better, right? Speaking of transparency. So do those 3 or 4 statements resonate? Because then I'll put those in writing and get those out as we recruit.
And it was Robin,
We have Robin
Robin
Burney, you, the principal's normally on there because we
She
affect
was.
classes.
she was on it when I was there.
Right, and usually Gretchen's on there as well from just understanding.
Maintenance, yeah, the
maintenance
building.
and building priorities. And then we also had, we had talked about a school committee member, a citizen with a child in the school,
You're gonna
a
get-
builder.
No, that's too many.
Well,
Yeah.
there is a school, there's school committee members that do have children in the school. We can ask
Yeah,
them to
but
jump in.
that takes us up to 1, 2,
Well, but Andrea
3.
isn't official, like, she's present, but she's not listed on the membership of the committee, right?
I don't think that's right, either way, I don't think that's.
It's,
I'm just saying for the count,
But-
you asked for a count, I'm just clarifying.
no, I think for account, let's just call it a working group. It's an ad hoc committee. You would end up with 6, including Andrea.
I don't, okay, so you're saying a school committee member? Just, it's a very limited
Yeah.
pool, if none of them want to go, you're gonna be.
I
that's
mean,
a
you can
small
ask for
pool of
their
people.
input, but they don't always have to, what's their input? What do you feel? And have their,
Well, I'm just saying it's a
express
small
what they
pool of
want.
people, if you don't get any interest from
Right,
a
it
school
really
committee
has to
member.
be somebody from Northfield, so
Right.
it's either that or.
Does Robin have kids in the school?
There's only a couple of
Yeah.
people on Northfield.
Okay, so she's
Robin,
got kids
yeah.
in the school.
Yeah.
Yep,
One of my,
and she's done a lot of volunteering over there with the PTO and the pavilion and everything, so it's.
I just think it's important to have folks in the school because we get all older folks and they have a different perspective, their kids are out of school, they've got different stuff going on, so.
I think the key thing is somebody who, like I said last time, I'm all for parents, all for teachers. You just have to understand big dollar projects.
So you're
and how
saying
to-
as Northfield School Committee rep?
Potentially.
Well,
One-
it
let's-
sounds like Robin has, I thought it was really important to have somebody who had kids in the school.
Yeah,
And
Robin
Robin
does.
she does.
But she's got older kids, right? She didn't have little kids.
No, she has little kids
Oh, she
too,
does?
yep.
And she is very
uh,
aware of different
And
things.
she's very involved with the PTO.
Great.
yeah.
Yeah.
So she's a good person
Yeah.
to be on there.
Yeah, she's kind of our utility player on the committee.
Nice.
Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that. If that's okay, let's,
I just don't think I think we should not necessarily codify, and if we find somebody, if somebody steps up who's
Yep.
really
I mean, they can
able to
always
do
ask
We're not gonna
people to come
turn-
in
we're not gonna
for
turn down
opinions that
volunteers,
have
but-
more on, I know some people that come in and look at this that are in the trades and that, and they would just give their opinion, but you don't want them on a committee. You just want them to use their knowledge.
yeah. Anywho, yeah, let's move on. I think, I just don't want to get caught up with such a long list that we don't move forward. So we'll start moving forward and see what we get. Okay, Cameron's Winery and Backroom Brewery request for temporary one-day liquor license, February 14th, 2026, from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. Northfield Mountain Recreation Center at 99 Millers Falls Road. So we need to approve those. And then the Recreation Commission Director, also the Events Coalition Head, Stacy Bond, will come in at our next meeting and give us an overview of the winter weekend plans. You all should have received an email with the brochure with all the different things going on that weekend to give you a flavor, but she'll come before our next meeting. But right now, if we could do a motion on those two, that would be great.
So moved?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great, okay. And now, Mass DEP, Department of Environmental Protection, Environmental Preferable Procurement Policy for alliteration.
So this is a change in request from the DEP for what used to be recycling policy the town had to have on the website. We need this to stay eligible for the recycling dividends program and the Regional Small Scale Initiative Fund grants from DEP, the RDEP, the regional recycling funds. Those grants are required to be spent on goods, services, and programs that support waste reduction or sustainable purchasing. Northfield received $8,400 this year. And these funds can be saved for larger projects. Much of the new shed at the transfer station was funded out of RDP grant funding, saved
Nice.
over several years, many years. So it behooves us to, if they change from recycling policy to a new sustainable repurchasing policy, I don't know that it hurts the town to do that.
Right.
We have to do it, and then we have to put it on the website.
Except it's more expensive, but you're saying that their grants generally,
I don't know that it's more expensive, really.
It'll vary. Sometimes you can buy a product that you can use, when you've used it one way, you can reuse it another way too, you know.
Like the
That's what they want, the reusing.
yeah.
You know, it's just, that's why the language in here, which I was fine with, was when possible
Right.
and
Whenever feasible.
Look
when
for-
feasible.
Look
Yeah.
for,
Yeah, so I was, you know,
So do you need us to, is this new or are we updating it?
it's brand new.
Okay, so you need us to approve this, assuming
It's
everybody's,
based on their model template, so
Right.
it's not,
yeah,
we're not making it
and
up.
it
As long as
seems,
it includes the when feasible language.
yep,
yeah, it
It's
does.
all in there.
okay. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the sustainable purchasing policy.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great. Thank you. Citizen concern, Shane?
Does that require, is that what this is? It requires
She's gotta
a
sign it,
signature?
so she's gonna pass one around.
Yep, sorry.
I've got one too, if you, whatever.
You wrote notes on
These
it.
are the.
No, no, this is
these are
my
liquor
copy.
licenses.
Here's one right here.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't let me sign it?
And I
He's
did
got one anyway.
I
He's
did the
doing one over
one-day
there.
certificates
I think they got
too.
another one over there going.
Yeah. No, I
Well,
sent
those are
around
the two
the,
liquor
Oh,
licenses.
the liquor license, okay,
Yeah.
that's the policy then, good.
here's the policy. Heading your way. Okay, topics, 48 hours, none. Committee board appointments and reappointments. So Mary Mayshark-Stavely, can I get a motion to reappoint Mary Mayshark-Stavely to the Historical Commission? She thought she wasn't going to be able to be on it, and she is.
So moved.
Yeah. Second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then we're going to do the fire department. Bernie, you want to read those out?
Do them as a whole.
Yeah.
Okay, reappoint Chief/Forest Fire Warden Floyd Skip Donnell III, Assistant Chief, Assistant Forest Fire Warden Michael Quinn, Captain, Assistant Forest Fire Warden Robert Hunter, First Lieutenant Jeff Grover, Second Lieutenant Caleb Milton, Third Lieutenant Tyler Hunter. Terms expire 1/31/27.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
Now I'll read the next one. Sam.
Firefighters, yeah.
The
Oh, Shane, you're on the list.
motion to appoint firefighters Patrick Burnett, Shane Duclos, Brandon Domain, Jacob Forrest, Andrew Goodwin Jr., James Greenlaw, Hunter Hillock, Jaden Hunter, Tom Jackson, Chris Kalinowski, Mike Magnuson, Tim Momini, Eric Oakes, Keith Stark, J.D. Stockwell, Derek Warden, and Zach Zelinski. Terms expire 1/31/2027.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then appoint to the auxiliary Kevin Connolly, Steve Mulsh, and James Wright. Terms expire 1/31/2027.
So moved.
Second.
Second, oh, sorry, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, sorry.
And appoint Secretary Amanda Donnell. Term expires 1/31/2027.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then appoint as Emergency Manager Director Floyd Skip Donnell and Amanda Donnell as Assistant Emergency Management Director. Terms expiring 1/30/2027.
So moved.
I don't know, do they have enough experience? Second.
You think?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you. And entertain a motion to appoint Robin Vandermatt to the Northfield Elementary School Capital Building Committee as the Finance Committee representative.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you, Robin. And appointment of Kevin Seaman to the Emergency Services Building Committee, term expiring December 31st, 2027.
So moved.
Second?
Who is in the discussion?
Yep.
Who's Kevin Seaman and what's his
What's the
contribution?
story?
Yeah.
I followed up. He is, if you're facing 39 Main Street, his house is to the right. And he has a ton of facilities experience in
Nice.
Winchester, New Hampshire. So we thought he'd be a great fit for a number of reasons. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great.
Do we need to appoint Bernie? Because he's also going to be on the committee.
Didn't we do that last meeting?
No, we just agreed
No,
that
we
we were
didn't.
going to do it.
We
Okay.
just agreed to put you on there.
Okay. Oh, if you want to.
So I make a motion to appoint
Bernie
Bernie
Boudreau.
Boudreau to the Northfield Elementary School Capital Building Committee
So moved.
as the select board representative.
So moved.
Second?
I mean, I did the motion. I
Oh, you
didn't
did the
second.
motion. You're the
Second.
second. Second, oh, he beat you.
Oh, wait, you're the,
No.
I
You
did the
made the
motion.
motion.
You
So
said
moved.
so moved.
Second.
But we really just need the motion and the second. It's getting late, you can
It's
tell.
belts and suspenders, yeah. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We just wanted to make sure you were absolutely going to be on that committee.
Just do it twice, 3 times.
Now I can't bolt.
Okay, announcements, you still, I'm just going to
What?
repeat what we did last
For what?
week, which was transfer station stickers, plus you guys, the town clerk just sent out the forms for your
Okay,
residency and you don't get into a big
No,
description,
just
but
really, there's only 3
yeah.
things.
Okay,
Okay.
The street list.
Street lists have gone out. Some people will be getting a little later because we had postage that was delayed. Stickers have been available and are still available, but if you're going to send them in or put it in a lockbox, self-addressed envelopes.
yeah, so they
If
know.
if you sent in a payment without a self-addressed envelope, come pick up your sticker. It's in the office downstairs. Dog licenses are also available. Make sure rabies certificates are up to date.
Thank you. Okay, recognition for service,
Highway Department.
highway
Oh, definitely, for
department,
what they're doing this year.
again. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone.
8:14.
Got through a lot there. Oh, yeah.